Have no fear. Patriots are in control. That's right, guys. Have no fear. Please do me a favor, smash that like button, hit share, make sure you are subscribed, and that you hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications. Things are heating up. It's happening. Yes, it is. I am so ready, you guys. And I just want to make sure everyone here is comfy as can be. How you doing out there, everybody? I think we're go. I think we're go, guys. The storm has arrived. This is just my opinion, but that's what I think. All right, guys. I had a lot of people order my Patriot supply over the last couple months. I've got some information about what's going on with your orders. I'm going to play this special information, and we'll be right back with the stream. Stephen King once wrote, "Panic is highly contagious, especially in situations when nothing is known and everything is in flux." Well, the world we live in today is in flux, and it's filled with a flood of information that's often as much gossip as fact. Now, that makes it hard to know what the situation really is, and it also makes it easy for people to panic and make bad decisions. The only way not to get caught up in that chaos is to have a plan allowing you to avoid dealing with empty store shelves, long lines, and in the worst case, desperate people. Use today to prepare. A great place to start is storing food in your home, and I'm prepared myself, and I even ordered more recently. Now, the experts at My Patriot Supply have told me that orders have now reached about 100 times the normal volume, and they're shipping on a first-come, first-served basis. With this unprecedented emergency, orders are being delayed, sometimes 8 weeks or more. I urge you to add your order to mine today, because the sooner you order, the sooner you can get your purchase. Take action so you're ready for what's coming and save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. Those that know what's coming are preparing today. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, there is no need to freak out, guys. Why? Because we are prepared. We have been preparing for this since 2017. For many of us, maybe even a lot longer. I just want to make sure that everybody out there is aware that everything's going to be okay. Even if POTUS calls a national emergency, even if things have to change for a little bit, in the long run, it's going to be a restructuring that is going to be in everyone's best interest. I want to say thank you to everybody who's here right now. Thank you to all of my mods. I see several people out there, Jojo, Wheezy, lots of regulars out there in the audience. But listen, guys, I see so many people freaking out. You know, I mean, my daughter called me and she works at a restaurant. Okay, so they're sending her home. She's not working the hours that she should be so that she can continue to pay her bills. And she's worried about it. But there is a whole bunch of stuff that President Trump can do if a national emergency is called and if the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act is enacted. So I want to know what you guys think, okay? I know that we've all been hearing a lot of stuff over the last 24 to 48 hours. Richard Stewart, of course, you're a regular, buddy. So there is a lot of talk, all right? We've been hearing that there is going to be this national emergency call. Now it's being reported openly in the press. It is a little bit scary for some people. Yes, things are going to change. Change is difficult, but that doesn't mean that it has to be painful. I think that many of you out there are ready for this. I know that many people have told me that there's no toilet paper. You go to the store. That happened to me yesterday. Toilet paper was honestly the only thing that I didn't purchase the last time I was at the grocery store, and I'm going to pay the price. But luckily, I've got a shower if anything goes down. But I want to hear what you guys think. I want to know what you are thinking is going to happen. Now, over the last couple of days, So many things taking place that I do believe are clearly signs and symbols that we are meant to decode and that are direct messages to us. Let me go ahead here, and I want to take you to the Robert T. Stafford Act. I want everybody to know what this is because it does a lot of really good things. Martial law definitely is something that is very possible, and I think that in this instance, it is totally warranted for the types of things that we're looking to have happen, the types of changes that must take place in order for us to take back our country. I do believe that martial law will need to be enacted. Now, there are already in several states the National Guard has been called up. Mel C, she says, can you give an overview of the Stafford Act and what that means? Yes, that is actually what I'm going to do first here. I also need to say thank you to Jeffrey Otero. He says, much love, my friend. And then also March Madness. That's right. We are in the midst of March Madness. What do we see? We see the entire country grinding to a halt. Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, golf outings, everything canceled. No sports. People will be glued to whatever the president says. The emergency response, the presidential alert system is probably going to go off at some point. Mama DK1, thank you for that. So here's an overview of the Stafford Act. So this authorizes the delivery of federal technical, financial, logistical, and other assistance to states and localities during declared major disasters or emergencies. Now, this is through FEMA. Craig Mason's Reasonable Conversation channel, my boy. He says, Keck at the viruses in the background. Nice touch. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, too. I want to keep a good, clear head about this and maintain my ability to see humor in everything. Now, I do want to make sure that everybody's aware any loss of life is tragic, okay? But what we're looking at here is something which happens on a daily basis. People lose their life every day. We have death as a part of life. It's just a part of the life process. And I don't want you to believe what you're being told. All of those people in Washington, I'll tell you what, they were just declared deceased as a result of CV-19. There was no testing that was involved in that. Super Z, thank you for that super chat as well. So the press, the mainstream media, the left, they are looking to control the narrative through this event right here. However, the Patriots and POTUS and the administration, they have already made contingencies for this. And that's why President Trump has been able to maintain such a cool head. It's why I am so comfortable in this situation. I have faith not only in POTUS, but I have faith in the administration. I think that he has put this together in such a way that it's going to be as seamless as possible. So basically, states ask for emergency assistance, or even without the states asking, the president can call a national emergency. Given the nature of what's taking place right now across the entire country, and inevitably it will continue to expand, it is going to be necessary for President Trump to call this national emergency. So the Stafford Act authorizes the president to declare a major disaster or emergency in response to an incident or threatened incident that overwhelms the response capability of state or local governments. That's why you see the National Guard being called out in places like, this is Inevitable ET, thank you for putting this out, but already Florida, New York, Iowa, Rhode Island. We've also got Missouri. We've also got Maryland. So we've got quite a few states already clearly stating that they have a national emergency. So calling a national emergency for everyone and putting out the National Guard on the streets, declaring martial law, this is a very natural response to what's happening. Jammer Drops the Hammer says it's going to be biblical, and absolutely it is. Richard Stewart says Michigan is in a state of emergency and all K through 12 schools are closed for 3 weeks, including my local school. Also, the same is true in Ohio, I believe. I know that all the colleges are shut down as well. So they want people to stay inside. Not only do they want people to stay inside just so that we don't continue to spread whatever this is, but also if people stay inside, it makes it easier to clean up the streets, guys. It makes it easier to drain the swamp. And there is word that President Trump might be including some major fiscal stimulus along with this national emergency because of the fact, like I described with my daughter, people being out of work, people who depend on the economy to continue moving along so that they can survive. Thank you very much to Craig Bauman for joining as a member, and Pepe Deluxe. What's up, homie? Good to see you, brother. All right, so the president doesn't have to get the gubernatorial request to declare an emergency. But this can be declared at the trigger of a public health emergency response. So it covers major disasters, natural catastrophes, flood, fire, explosion. Doesn't matter what the cause, just as long as there's enough of a severity so that there's going to be some loss, some economic hardship. Now, there are 3 types of assistance that are authorized by the Stafford Act. They can take the form of direct federal aid for services, grants, and technical support, or as reimbursement for services provided by or contracted for by affected states. So FEMA has extensive rules, policies, and guidance to further define eligibility and procedures for the Stafford Act assistance. Kristen Saradin says, in case you need extra TP, thank you very much. I'm going to need it. Hopefully, Friday or Saturday night, they're supposed to be restocking my local grocery store. So as soon as I'm done with the streams, I'm going to have to be running out and grabbing that. So eligible applicants for this aid are state and local governments, tribes, and certain private nonprofit entities that provide services of a government nature. Now, eligible facilities are structures or equipment such as public buildings, schools, hospitals, outpatient care centers, and custodial care centers. Eligible work is disaster recovery work performed on an eligible facility that is needed as a result of a major disaster event. So think these quarantine centers that might be popping up. Lexi Chandler, thank you very much for that. Angel Eyes says, time for us to stick together. Keep faith in God. Absolutely. That is 100%. Now, this is, again, I just want to inform everybody of what possibly might be taking place. I don't want anybody to panic. One of the reasons I have minimized my coverage of this stuff is because I feel that I have a responsibility to be responsible to you guys. This is not just some hobby that I do. You know, I realize I've got almost 200,000 people that might turn in and see what I have to say at any given time, and I'm not going to be yelling fire in a crowded building. Kelly C. and Cat's Place, thank you both for joining as members of the channel. Brian Beller says, I will stay in my house for a month if they will drain the swamp, and that's exactly what I believe is going to be happening, Brian. With all of this taking place, it immediately brings me back to this post right here, post 34. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS's order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur 11/3 upon the arrest announcement of JP, actionable on 11/4. Now, obviously, this didn't happen at the time that came out, but I think we've come to see that over the course of these several years that we've been getting these posts, we are seeing things that are pointed to ahead of time, okay? Future proves past. And now we're at the 2-year delta on the 15th of March Madness, those posts right there. Now, it says public riots are being organized. Wait a second. Where is the... there was the post that was talking about the arrest. Well, I don't know. We'll have to find it. Today is the Ides of March. Okay, that's another great one to go ahead and search for. Ides of March. Let's look. What do we got there? We got two. Okay. Wasn't there? Well, we got the March Madness. So March Madness on the 10th, March Madness on the 15th. Public will know soon. So if this is what I think it is, ICE tweeted out some open society stuff. That would be very interesting, Luke Scott Sly Talker. Yeah, if they're going to go after it. You know, and then we have what was an incredible video, that guy walking with the folder. Did you guys see that? It was in Thomas's video, it was in a couple other people's videos. Ziggy123 says, imagine if POTUS does this. UK delays elections for a year because of the virus spread. Very, very possible. Thoughts on the elite getting sick? Yes, actually, son of a green card, I did see that particular substance is produced in that city in China. I thought that was very, very interesting. We'll go ahead and see how that plays out. But the more clues that we have, guys, the more things that I see, the more that I think we are actually in the moment of the happening. Melissa Charbas says they put my daughter in quarantine. Well, everybody say a prayer for Melissa's daughter. Melissa, I do believe she's going to be okay. If she's a young woman, then I'm sure that her immune system is just going to bounce that stuff right out. Yes, the red to green folder. Let's go ahead and take a look for that red to green folder. Folder turns green. Now, there's I haven't seen anybody talking about this. Oh, shoot, where is it? UK... folder red to green. I actually have it someplace. Here we go. Viewers baffled as the magic folder. Now see, this guy is walking right next to him, and the man carrying the folder, he does this kind of look back. Okay, I think that he's got the green folder in his coat because he's got this big baggy coat on. And as he goes by, he slides the green folder and then he takes the red folder. Let's go ahead and watch this. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we don't have the sound. 27 Sparkle, thank you very much for that super chat. JNBD says, new t-shirt and hat make treason scary again. Ah, yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, honest content. Red Castle, Green Castle. We are here. Okay, so hold on. Let me just make this bigger for you guys. We're going to go full screen on this. All right, so you can see he's walking out. This guy comes walking up beside him. Look, he does a look back, okay? So we make sure that the guy is in the right place. So then as soon as they go behind the car, look, he reaches in his coat. You can see it. And then he does a quick swap. And there you go. The folder goes from red to green. You guys, I do clearly think that this is a go code. And then don't forget, we've also got that tweet which showed, oh, look at that. That's one of my favorites. So here, yeah, Melania and the president. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. Sorry. All right, we're going to do this again. Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your patience here. Okay. Okay, so here he comes walking out. He's got the folder. This guy right here is walking up behind him. He looks kind of serious. All right, and then he does a look back. Make sure he's there. As soon as he goes by, you can see he's kind of reaching in his coat. He's holding on to something in there. He slides it over, gives it to him, and then the folder is green. Red to green. Like I said, it's a go code. I do believe it's a go code. Yeah, Craig, it happens. It happens, buddy. Sometimes we can't help it. Okay, so I want to show you this right here as well. This document from the CDC. We have this random storm up here in the right-hand corner. Why would that random storm be there? It doesn't make any sense unless this is the storm. Very, very cool. So FLOTUS put that out. President Trump put that out as well. And then Anon66, this guy, he got a clip. It's actually, let's see, it was video as well as being still images as well. And he's a prolific poster. So it will take me a moment just to get back to where that original post was. I saw this yesterday when I was at the airport picking up my daughter. Well, here's Lisa May putting it out. But somebody shown this. It's like a bat signal shining on the Capitol dome. And I'll be darned if that doesn't look like the 17th letter of the alphabet with a little bunny rabbit inside, guys. I'm sure that you know, this is something that many people have seen. But I want to put it out there for anybody who hasn't seen it. Let's see if I can get to the actual video of it. Here's a closer shot. That sure looks like it to me. Seth Rich is a hero says, thanks for pointing out red to green. Yeah, you're welcome, man. I just want to make sure. I wasn't able to make a video yesterday because I had to make that video ahead of time because I had to pick my daughter up from the airport. And all this stuff happened, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I wish I could make this video and get it out. Brandy Heinrich says, love your show. God bless. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate you watching. And then Karma Anon says it's happening. I do think it's happening, guys. You know, I mean, here we go. Here's the video. A little bit of the noise. This is something that happens. Look at that, just shining right on the Capitol dome. Live on Fox News. Live on Fox News. It happened. Okay. Can you imagine the logistics of getting this done? If someone was to just do this and not have the okay to do it, you would think that the Capitol Police or the Secret Service, they would immediately find out where that's coming from. I mean, it would have to be from someplace down there in Washington, D.C. Very, very cool stuff. I'm really excited about what's going to happen here today, guys. I'm really excited about POTUS and coming out and having this announcement. I'm really excited at the possibilities of what could be taking place over the next several weeks. Now, I am going to say I've heard from several sources that some emergency responders in Texas and Austin, I believe, they were told that they're looking at potentially a 35-day quarantine. I've heard a lot of people just chattering about this. I started to hear about it early yesterday from some connections that I had, but I didn't want to come out and say it. But now that it's all out there and many people are discussing it, I feel comfortable going ahead and saying it. Deb Leahy, thank you for joining as a member of the channel. I do appreciate that. President's Live now. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. He will be coming up here very shortly. Hold on. Yep, it says next up. So don't worry, guys. We won't miss it. We're going to go ahead and see that. Tina S., you missed that we are comfy. There's a possibility that it's happening, and we have seen several clues in the last couple of days which show that we are in this moment, guys. It is about to go down, and this is the perfect time. Okay, you can go ahead and say it's all good. Okay, yeah, White Hat told me because of his connections to people at the Pentagon. He was told early yesterday that we were going to be put on quarantine, on lockdown. It's the perfect opportunity for the swamp to get drained, to get drained in the way that it must. Now, don't forget also that Congress is going to be on recess. Remember that post? It's about the break. Having trouble typing. ColorFab says, thank you, RedPill78 from a Canadian Patriot. Thank you very much, Canadian Patriot, ColorFab, for being here with us. I appreciate you. We've got lots of amazing Patriots. And let's not even talk about who is actually getting infected. We've got Heidi Klum. We've got Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. We've got, who else? Celine Dion. It's only, yes, 1,000 National Guard troops, 6 states just now. 6 additional states, TikTok, because we talked about the other 6 states. But that is very, very interesting. And then don't forget, we also had that image from Dan Scavino. Dan Scavino posted that image of the White House with the green lights on it. So, I mean, that's Green Castle to me. That sure looks like it. Very, 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 very cool. Now, China shut down a city, not the country. They shut down a good portion of the country. It wasn't just, I mean, if you look at the map, the contagion map, it's the entire country. I mean, there's no place there that doesn't have it. There's quarantines all over the place. I think we're looking at a countrywide lockdown. Yeah, I really do. Yes, Lady Warrenon says, did you see that the elites are quarantining in their underground bunkers? Yes, I did see that. So these people who are saying that they're publicly affected, and don't forget Trudeau and his wife, I do think that this is a very easy way for these people to be removed from the situation. I mean, they go under quarantine and maybe they don't come back, and maybe they end up down in Gitmo in quarantine. Yes, trying to get private aircraft to get them to fly out. Wow. Well, if they are, I think they're going to have a tough time. Also, I've heard from many people, TikTok did the math. These people are sick. That's right, Neon Revolt. Also, every time that our favorite Anon has said these people are sick, it lines up so perfectly. We've got double meanings everywhere. Cosmic Shy, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. Let me see. What was else I going to show you? Let me go back to my Twitter feed here, because there was a couple other ones that I put out. Okay, so here's the timeline from Texas Patriots, and she's gotten some great engagement on this, so very, very good. Jamie H. says he started prepping 2 weeks ago. Good for you, Jamie H. Okay, so CV19 is the storm we've been waiting for. C equals 3, V equals 22. That is 322. I will say Minnesota just declared a state of emergency. Thank you, AR is for nubs. Noobs. Yes, so that's cool. That's very interesting here. Also, I saw on Calandro's video, where we go one, we go all, if you take the COVID-19 name, put it into a translator and translate it to Hebrew, and then translate it back into English, it translates into Kobe. Like, Kobe, like it. And I just realized that the first case here in America was the day after he passed away. Brian Beller says, or maybe they got arrested and the quarantine is just cover. Exactly. It could be any of these things, guys. They could be about to get arrested, or they could have already been arrested. And we are just going to see the fallout. White House photographer said these people are sick in a tweet today. White House was orange. Oh my God. I love it. I absolutely love it. So she says that 3/11 was a marker. Before Trump's address, he had a hot mic. He said, I got a pen mark. Does anyone not have some of that white stuff? Refers to Q26. 11.3 verifies his first marker. Q posted 5 times, follow the pen, and marker. 169 times. The white stuff, D5, avalanche, whiteout, white squall, all refer to the storm. Trump's address, he says, we have a common enemy, and enemy of the world equals cabal, the bad people who worship Lucifer. He mentions cargo, human trafficking in cargo containers. The address ends at 9 minutes, 11 seconds. Deep State's 9/11 started today. POTUS has to be on Air Force One. POTUS might be on Air Force One. They might be taking him someplace, but he could be delivering this address from Air Force One for all we know. Serenity, beautiful Serenity. What was the insignia on that red folder? That, well, considering it was a UK, it was the chancellor of their budget. So, I mean, I don't know what the symbol was, but it must have been something having to do. That's like some type of UK parliamentary seal or something like that. Oh, Trey Honeycutt says Kobe was buried in Corona Del Mar Cemetery. Jeez, oh Pete's, you guys. Holy shit, we have 6,600 people viewing, guys? I didn't even know. That's insane. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for showing up here midday. I do appreciate it. POTUS is going to be starting any second now. So we're just waiting for POTUS to get on here. Neon Revolt, not even joking. The Capitol Dome is loading up on tendies. What does that mean? Let me see. Let's go ahead and see that. Tendies, like chicken tenders? Yes, loves that chicken from Popeye. Neon. Loads up before Trump speaks up on CV. Wow, maybe they're planning on sticking around inside that Capitol building for a very long time. That is so great. Congress is divided now more than ever, except when it comes to chowing down, because they all apparently love Popeyes. Look at that. Yes, and President Trump dropped an F-bomb. Methods sent that over after the address the other night, and I thought that was hilarious. And I also thought it was interesting that he didn't want to say whiteout. He said white stuff. So yeah, very interesting. I can totally see that lining up with the theory here. And I wanted to show you this, guys. Andy Bond says Kobe's flight took off from Corona Airport. Also, there was a plane crash in LA that took off from Corona Airport about the same time, too. Thanks for that. I do appreciate that, Andy. 6078, retire soon. Yeah, Trey, I'm not going to retire anytime soon. Ron Burtka says, I've started the preparation H for this pain in the ASS. Well, POTUS won't be able to host rallies, but that would be great if POTUS would be willing to come on our channel and have a rally with us. I think that President Trump might end up doing live streams, to be honest with you. I mean, think about how many people would tune into that. But look at this, guys. Careers at the CDC, a public health advisor quarantine program. Look at the date. It was posted on 11/15/2019. They knew ahead of time that they were going to need quarantine advisors in all of these different states and cities. Jackie Penn says, POTUS tweet today, all red tape has been cut, ready to go. Ooh, Jackie, look at that. Thank you for that super chat. Rita Berry, thank you for joining as a member of the channel. Frosty Bear, I've been told Corona in Hebrew is Kobe. Yes, we just went over that, Frosty, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think that Kobe was an offering. I'm not going to lie. I think he was an offering. There was too much weird stuff happening around that. But what do you guys think about this? This is also from Where We Go One, We Goes All's video. If you guys don't subscribe to Caladro, Where We Go One, We Go All, you need to go and do it because his channel is amazing. He only puts out a couple of videos a week, but every single one is top notch. He's a really good friend of the channel. He's been here on a couple of live streams with me. I love that guy. D's Nuts Be Dragon says, trying to work and pay attention, it's not working. Well, then just pay attention and stop working. Let's see. So, yes, ask POTUS to come on. Gosh, I know, POTUS, I wish he would come on. Hopefully he doesn't keep us waiting too long. Wow, the White House has 50,000 people waiting as well. Yes, I loved that video too, Wheezy Girl. He was great, you guys. Absolutely love Calandra. So, you know, I mean, I'd love to hear if you guys have any stories yourselves of people, you know, of the National Guard being activated in your area. Post a link to Calandra. Yes, I can do that. I can definitely do that. Let me go to his channel real quick. Yeah, I would get such a kick out of this if he got a ton of subs as a result. Hold on. Oh, I have to spell it out. Floriccio, what's up, Flor? Why have we not yet seen one single funeral of victims of virus families or any fake news media? Oh, that's an excellent point. We haven't seen anything like that. We also, the only funeral that lined up with the state funeral post, I would say, would also be Kobe. Thank you for that, Flor. Louie says, I'm sure I'm like some other people here. Why is Q not responding to this? If we ever needed a message from Q, it's really now. So we need something, Mr. Q. Thanks for all your vids. At least we know one thing. Trump 2020 is safe. Well, I would say, Louie, that the reason we're not seeing a specific comment right now is because we can take the entirety of the posts and go back and look, and that is our response right there. We have been told about this for such a very long time. Now we are here in the moment, and we're actually watching it happen. So all we need to do is go back. Plus, we have, you know, people like myself who are able to talk about this, and so many other channels. I think that the whole goal of this operation was to bring the power back to the people. And with situations like my channel, like Thomas, like Where We Go One, We Go All, like Space Shot, like Table of Titans, all of these guys, all of us, we are now the deliverer of the news. We are the news now, and we've taken back the narrative. D. Martin says, thank you, Red Pill 78. Thank you, D. I do appreciate that. And then Andy Bond says, yeah, Kobe funeral at Corona Del Mar. Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, guys. Here, I'm going to drop Caladro's channel. There you go. It's his username was Zerbo803. I think that must have been an old username. But he does great videos, you guys. He's got 96,000 subs right now. Why don't we try to see if we can get him over 100,000 subs? I think he would like that. Yes, so White Hat says, Q is silent running. They posted last post that they were going dark for a bit. There you go. Yeah, silent running refers to a submarine when it's in stealth mode. And, you know, how many times have we heard about stealth bombers? Stafford Act about to be announced, Michael Kenny. That's right. Fatboy Studio says, love your videos. Thank you for the work. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, buddy. All right, guys, if you can do me a favor, just make sure that if you're watching this video, you have liked it. And let's make sure that every single one of you has hit the notification bell on my subscription page, okay? Because that way you'll get notified. Now, I know that this channel, or excuse me, this platform is supposed to send out up to 3 notifications per day. I know I'm lucky if I get one. Most of my subs don't get notified, but please, you know, help us out. That's the best way you can support the channel, because then you can like it and you can share it and you can get the information out to other people. Jason Schrank says, thank you for the hard work and commitment to the greater good. Knowing how stressful it can get, here's something for the popcorn fund. Thanks, buddy. I do appreciate that. It can get stressful, you know, because, I mean, I have my life outside of this. But, you know, to a great degree, this is my life. Priscilla Reeves, thank you for joining as a member of the channel. I do appreciate it. Jamie McNeil says, video is unwatchable. Audio and video does not stream smoothly. I don't know why that would be the case, because we are streaming with excellent conditions here. So perhaps if your kids or somebody else is in the house also streaming video games or YouTube videos, you want to tell them to stop, because then we can go ahead and deliver all the bandwidth to your phone or computer. Dodge P says, watch the ones that scream the loudest. Yes, exactly. We are seeing that right now. Media freaking out. Nancy Pelosi trying to stuff all that garbage inside the response bill. Also, Claudia McLaughlin, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate it. And the guys on tour, they say, love it if Trump declares a state of emergency. U.S. lockdown, activate National Guard and military curfew, mass arrests, unseal indictments, boom. And that's exactly the route that I believe we are about to take, you guys. This is going to be the real deal. It is absolutely happening, guys. This is, there's no mistaking it. There's absolutely no mistaking it. Denise, she says she's excited. All the groups in the UK are also excited. We're watching the cabal's downfall. This is in real time. POTUS is on the ground at the White House. Elizabeth G., thank you for that little tip right there. So we're just waiting for POTUS to come onto the stream right now. Rhonda Lemker says, glad you're feeling better. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you so much. Did you see Comey's tweet about going dark? No, I did not see Comey's tweet about going dark. We're going to check that out. Chung Lo says, National Guard handing out supplies with no masks and regular uniforms versus hazmat suited people in mainland China, stopping people. CAG 2020. That's right. Keep America great. And I did hear that the 30,000 troops that were sent to Italy and to Europe, they did not go with masks or with special suits. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to have my own special suit. Shannon White Snugs, thank you for the super chat. You guys, I actually have I've got a hazmat suit just in case something goes crazy and I have to go outside in the midst of some type of quarantine. The 4D says, love from the UK. We are waiting with you. We go one, we go all. Thank you, the 4D. I appreciate that, buddy. I think we're all waiting together, The great thing about this movement is that it is worldwide. It's global. We have touched every single corner of the universe with this. Oh, TechnoAxe. What's up, TechnoAxe? Good to see you. You guys, I actually do have, hold on, let me get something pulled up here so that I can show you, because SpaceShot76 sent it over to me. It's a picture from North Korea, and it is apparently we have some viewers over there watching in North Korea, and I was just stunned when I learned this. Let me see. Where is it? SpaceShot76. SpaceShot76. Yeah, this was just a big... Where is it? SpaceShot. There we go. Okay, sweet. Okay, so first I'm going to show you this picture. Okay, look at this, guys. Look at this. Okay, so this... Oh, son of a gun, I just tipped my water over onto my soundboard. This right here is, let me unplug this. I don't want it to get wetter than it is. This is why I need a producer. Slow the chat, Gypsy Nurse Kathy. Okay. Maureen Downey Borg, thank you for that super chat. She says, you are amazing. I appreciate that. More than you could possibly know. Let's see. Super chat. We're going to 60 seconds on the super chat, guys, because it is pretty much flying by. Let's see. And there we go. Okay, so you see here, guys, this is in North Korea. This is when POTUS was there to meet with Kim Jong-un. And you can see what the North Korean people did. They created this display. I believe it's made out of flowers. Maybe it's just made out of paper mache or something like that. Andrew Ross says he's new to the channel. Andrew, I want to welcome you with open arms. Thank you so much. So you can see here this guy riding by. We've got the American flag, we've got the North Korean flag, and they're shaking hands. Now let me take you to a closer view so that you can get a better look. All right, now take a look there. Right in front of the American flag, someone has put this hat. This looks to be like a handmade hat. Lisa Lady says, we've been waiting on this. God is in control. Love you, RedPill78. You're the best. Thank you so much, Lisa Lady. I do appreciate that. All right, so now I'm going to take you to a closer view of that hat so you can see. All right, guys, look here. It's the names of all of our channels. It says, where we go one, we go all. It's embroidered into the hat. X22 Report, RedPill78, SpaceShot76, iPod, Praying Medic, Truth and Art TV, Trump and Kim, and a peace sign. How amazing is that, guys? That means that there are patriots in North Korea who could be potentially watching this stream right now. This is a worldwide movement. We are global, fam. Absolutely incredible to see that. I literally started to tear up when SpaceShot sent that over to me yesterday. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Nicole Chatterone, thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate it. And then, oh, Tink Bell. Tink Bell joined as a member of the channel. Thank you so much, Tink. Also, Becky Trombley gave us a super chat. Thank you, Becky. And Terry Todd also joined as a member. Yeah, this is incredible, guys. I want you to just take a closer look. Take a closer look. Look at that. Someone made this hat by hand. North Korea, you guys. North Korea, and they made this hat by hand, and they're watching our channels. That means that our message is getting all the way across the globe, okay? This is an incredible day. And to see this and to know that we're not just speaking to Americans, we're speaking to patriots all across the world. It's just a phenomenal feeling. Also, I need to say thank you to Julie Tobin. She says, thanks for all you do for us. You are the best reporter ever. Well, thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Angela Chung says, oh, she is joining up as a member. Thank you very much, Angela. I appreciate that. So, you guys, when I saw that the other day, I want to thank you, Space Shot. I want to thank you also to the viewer of his and mine that got those pictures and sent them. Apparently, they were broadcast on German and Russian state television, but of course, they wouldn't be shown here on American television. They wouldn't want to do that. We also have Chubby Muscles joining as a member, Fatboy Studios joining as a member, Gretchen M joining as a member. Tiger Lily says, I've listened to you since you began, but I've never commented until now. This deserves a comment, so here it is. It's happening. It certainly is happening. EO2 Dave says 7,700 views. I like an early live stream too. This is great. Maybe I'll just start doing early shows. I never knew that so many people were looking for stuff to watch. I mean, I guess I'm looking for stuff to watch this early in the day. Sharon joined as a member as well. Thank you, Sharon. Floricio says our movement is real, true, and powerful. Unity is powerful. Where we go one, we go all. Yes, it is extremely powerful. We get so much more done when people are united against a common front. All right, we're looking to take back not only our country, but the world. I've said this on so many occasions. The overlords, the people who have been controlling us and controlling the globe for all these many centuries, they've got a big head start on us. That's why I am so impressed with President Trump and all the work that he's been able to do in the short time that he's been president. Annie Het says, God bless America. God bless you, Annie. And then Stephanie Oostveen, thank you very much for that super chat. And then the 4D says, show backstage analytics, see where people are watching from. You have over 7,000 watching. Yeah, I don't know how to do that while I'm on the air, but I'll figure it out. And I'll be able to tell. I've looked before and it says like 99% of the people watching are from America. So I don't know if they're lying to me or if this is, if that's really it and it's just a couple of people in North Korea. But I mean, anyone in North Korea is really exciting. Concrete Watershed says, historic times, God first. Exactly, 100%. And then Mrs. Dallin, thank you very much for that super chat. Richard Stewart says, I'm getting a bunch of notifications from different YouTube videos. I'm getting suspicious. Yeah. Somebody, when I was in the hospital last weekend, Techmaster Q, my buddy Techmaster Q, he said that he got my community post like 3 days later, not when I posted it. So, hey, Q University, what's up? Remember, we did this for years together. Love you, brother. Thank you for the pills. 100% Q University. Great to see you here. Lolo Min 3 says, is joining up as a member. Thank you for that. Bonnie Sam Garrett, thank you for the super chat. And Casey says, this election year, remember, Hillary killed Harambe. Oh, rest in peace, Harambe. Melissa Byer says, thank you for all you do. Glad you're feeling better. Trust the plan. My friends get it now. Have been telling them we need to stand for American industry. Now they can't buy toilet paper. That is a powerful statement. There's nothing says you should have listened before, like you can't buy toilet paper at the store. Pretty much crazy. Let's see. Elizabeth says, I think KJU has this red pill moment. Otherwise, you can be sure that there would be no need to be seen by anyone. I don't know. Let me do a refresh on the screen, guys. We're going to see. Maybe President Trump. Nope. It's showing that it's live, but President Trump hasn't arrived yet. Nasara Chuck Barack. I don't know. If there was going to be a currency reset, I think it would be right now. Michael Gagnon has joined as a Red Pill 78 distributor. Thank you very much for that, Chuck. Appreciate that, Chuck. Warrior Princess also joined as a supporter, and Milam Thomas also joined as a supporter. Thank you, guys. Appreciate all of you. Kelly Dunn says, if I don't get my meds every Thursday, I will die. Kelly, I don't think that they're going to shut down the pharmacies. Now, I also think that they're going to force the pharmaceutical industries to start creating the necessary medications here and not over in China, because China actually threatened to withhold their medications and use them only over there. So that is a clear act, a declaration of war, in my opinion. Trey Honeycutt says, Trump National Golf Course, Lake Norman, North Carolina, MAGA. It's a beautiful golf course. Jackie Davidson, thank you for joining as a member. Social Observer says, I'm ready for the economic reset and free energy. 100%. Me too. And then Gavranon says, 3B Scientific Wuhan Corp and the Adreno Chrome, interesting rabbit hole. The more you know. Yes, I have seen that in the last couple of days. Angie Penberthy says, you are inspiring. I hope so, and I'm glad that I am. It is my goal to inspire people to be comfortable in these uncertain times, because if you don't have something to anchor yourself to, if you are faithless, if you find yourself adrift without a purpose or without a plan, then it's very easy to start floundering around. And that's when people panic. That's when people do things that they, that they regret. Sherry Saunders S. I gave a super chat. Thank you very much, Sherry Saunders. I appreciate that. And then also to Tammy Davenport. Thank you, Tammy. So, Gaffer, I would like to know what's going on with your industry. I don't know if something you want to talk about here in the chat, but this would be a perfect time. I want to see what the response is from the people that we've been talking about. Kathleen Bikert says, thank you for everything you do. God bless our president and the United States of America. Yes, God bless all of us, because President Trump is bringing the power back to the people. Richard Stewart says, when this all goes down, remember all of us and that we believed in you. Absolutely. I'm not going anywhere, guys. I will never forget you guys, and this is the highlight of my day. Outside of my personal interactions with my loved ones. But when I'm not doing family stuff, this is what I love, and I really enjoy being here with you guys and being able to have these types of interactions. Let's go ahead and go back so we can see the super chats on the screen. Eric Anderson says, for God, for country, and humanity. Run, rabbit, run. That's right. Fremont Robertson says, love me some Red Pill 78. Thanks, guy. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, don't worry about what's happening or what might happen, because the truth of the matter is that it's out of our control. Whatever it is, it's not up to us. President Trump has a plan. I believe that. I trust in what the president is doing. Beyond that, I believe God has a plan. I believe that everything that's taking place is going to be preordained. It's not something that we need to worry about. I need to say thank you to Michael Sullivan. Red Pill, you are astounding. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate that, buddy. Mark Roberts says, what a cool hat. Keep going, Red Pill 78. Do I have a hat on? No. Oh, no, there's no hat. But thank you. What a cool hat. Thank you. Ann Jarzen, thank you for joining as a member of the channel. I do appreciate that. You guys, I just want to do one more ask for a like. We've got 3.6 thousand likes, and we've got almost 7,900 people viewing. We're at 7,898 right now. 7,906 now. We just broke 7,906. Do me a favor, like this broadcast, because the more people that like it, the more opportunities it is likely that YouTube will go ahead and share this with other people. Yes, the hat in North Korea. Oh, the hat. Thank you so much, Cummins Sunshine Bear. The hat was so cool. Oh, my girlfriend's here. POTUS is fashionably late. That's right. Hi, baby. I love you and I miss you. And my mom, the North Korea hat. Yeah, how cool. How cool was that North Korea hat, guys? You guys, I was so excited when I saw that. It was just a really stirring moment. The fact that we've got people in North Korea. How about this, you guys? Give me a shout out in the chat and tell me what country you're from. And if you're from the United States, just give me your state. Love in Texas says, say my name, where we go one, we go all. Love in Texas. Love in Texas. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Love Vibration Nation. Trump needs to halt all short selling and call for a 24-hour settlement on open transactions. Soros cabal making billions. China, Iran, Canada, France, all shorting us too. Italy, South Korea, and UK halted already. Yes, short selling should be illegal. I am totally in favor of that. Wow, look at all that. Angela Sunrise from Norway. I see so many states. Wow, you guys. Wow, this is incredible. I'm gonna have to drop down just a little bit more on the slow mode because it is burning my eyeballs out. Let's go to 120. Okay, and then let me catch up on these super chats. But yeah, this is incredible, you guys. Look at all these people. So Sharon Bergstein says, "Oh no." Where'd it go? Okay, there it goes. Sharon Bergstein says, keep your eyes on Gilead Sciences in Israel, a biopharmaceutical company to come out with a therapeutic cure. All must rely on Israel. I have heard of that, actually, yes. T. Jones 5403 says, thank you, you're the best. Thank you, T. Jones. Ursula 1111 says, we've all been traveling down this road together for a reason. My not yet awake sister said to me yesterday, It's like we're in a movie. That's right. The greatest movie ever made. Thank you, RP, for being here for Where We Go One, We Go All movement. POTUS at 322. There we go. Oh, how cool would that be? Let's watch for that. Don Chapman has joined as a supporter. Thank you, Don. J. Red says, China blames the U.S. Army for the virus. You hear about this? Yes, I did see that bit of propaganda on Twitter yesterday. I don't know who the person was that was posting it. They were clearly a Chinese account. But yes, they were trying to say that the United States and the military had something to do with it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think that the White Hats would be willing to have any loss of life in order to do an operation like this. I think that's why we've waited so long. I think that's why it's been such a measured and drawn-out response. Oh, I saw Puerto Rico. I saw Nottingham, England. Yeah, wow. Gosh, you guys. So many cool people here. I love you guys. I appreciate you being here. Eddie Mitchell says Florida, and Aaron Tangredi, thank you for the super chat, both of you, and Annette Nevin, thank you for the super chat as well. Brian Beller. By the way, did you get the t-shirt I sent you that says no quid, no quo, Biden is a crook, and Epstein did not KYH? Yes, I did get that. And tell you what, Brian, tonight I will go ahead and show it on the stream. So make sure that you're here at 10 p.m. Now, I guess this is a great time to plug my stream that's going to be coming up later tonight at 10 p.m. It's going to be our annual Friday the 13th Spooktacular. We're going to be doing an all call-in show where you guys call in and tell us your paranormal stories. Now, it's going to be me and Methods hosting the entire time, so I just want to say thank you, Methods, for hosting with me tonight. And we're going to have a special guest from Twitter, Patriot Report. Patriot Report has his own show. He does an online magazine. I believe it's called Magazine. And he's going to be here talking about the Jeffrey situation because he, in the course of his work, has some inside information. And then we're going to be talking about his paranormal experiences. So probably after about the first 30 or 40 minutes, we're going to open up the phones and you guys are going to call in and tell us about your experiences. There's going to be so many good ghost stories, guys. Let's see. Brian Stoner says, it's me, Wolfpack brother. Long time. What's up, Brian? Good to see you, brother. Our Dr. D says, we are the community. We are together. Compare the love here to selfish, pretentious words of cute pretenders. They whine like a baby. Thank you, Ardoc. I love you too, brother. Ardoc and the boys from Table of Titans are going to be making an appearance on Comfy Sunday in the very near future. And then Lawrence Stoll says, perhaps Soros was maneuvering into shorting. I do believe he was. I think that this is the kind of event that would create the need for those shorts so then people can make a lot of money off of it. Jeff George says, C before D, Corona before D class. Oh my God. That is great. That is great. C before D, 100%. And we've also got the FISA renewal that's supposed to be coming up this week, but it's not going to happen. The House Freedom Caucus is standing in the way of the renewal of this FISA application process. President Trump has already hinted that he doesn't want it to be renewed until the full extent of the coup that was trying to replace him is revealed. Let's see. Lawrence, I'm sorry. Too late to skate by. Too late to skate by says Trump is Batman. Signal on the Capitol. Yes, exactly. 1949 special edition. Thank you for joining as a member. And then Navy Mom Florida says, thank you. Thanks for Q Plus, Red Pill 78. Only lab capable of handling CV is in Wuhan and the epicenter of the epidemic. There are no coincidences. Yes, veto that bill, Fatboy Studios. Yes, they are going to veto that bill. President Trump's not going to allow this to continue. I think that in certain instances, we need this FISA process, but it is not meant to be used against American citizens in the way that it has been used in the last several years, and probably longer than we think. I would imagine since the very beginning. What's up, everybody? Thank you very much for joining us. If you're just showing up, then thank you for coming here. Tammy Moskis, thank you for that super chat, $10.99 in euros. Tammy, I hope everything's going okay over there, wherever you're at in Europe. And she says, #1 fan. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. So think about this. The cost to build Gitmo, I believe at the beginning was, $2 million? That's not much money. They didn't make it a particularly high-tech enterprise. But President Trump has pumped in over $2 billion since coming into office. $2 billion into making Gitmo a full-service health and retirement spa for the elite. Brian says, Michigan, you're the best. From Brian0964 and Allie for Truth and Avery Joe. Hey, what's up, Brian? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Newest fake QAS coincidence. That is interesting. That is interesting. Huh. Well, that would be interesting to go back through and look at those posts with that in mind. No, Tammy, not number one fan. You guys, I have to say, my real red pill girlfriend is definitely my number one fan. But you guys, it's okay. Everybody here is just as important. Oh yeah, thank you for hiding that prawn bot. Appreciate that. So 324, we still have no POTUS. So anyways, he should be coming out soon. But what do you guys think? Why don't we open up the phones and we'll see what you guys have to think about this this little shindig that we've got going on right now. There we go. Let me get this pulled up. Stacy, welcome as a member of the channel. And oh, Mary Ely. Hi, RP, loving it all. Yes, Mary, I got your letter yesterday, too. Thank you so much. Bonnie Lucas says, stay calm and carry on. 100%. There is nothing to fear, you guys. Everything that's happening is exactly as it was planned. Jason Shank says, I love this crowd. Great input always. You really are helping our America and our country and others around the world. Unite. No more divided United States of America. Nope, definitely not. And Denise, my friend and former guest from across the pond, has joined as a supporter. Thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate that. POTUS is coming out at 5:17 or 17:17 military time. Really? That's like 2 hours away. He was supposed to be here at 3:30. And it started streaming 39 minutes ago. Wow. Waiting for the markets to close. Yeah, I think that the markets are going to necessarily need to close. You know, I saw back on Sean's channel, SGT Report, when Methods was on. He was talking about in the wake of 2008 with the market crash, the elites pulled something like $500 billion out of the money market, and they had to stop the flow of those sales from going out. Otherwise, it would have collapsed the entire economy. Normal people don't just have millions of dollars in money market accounts. I mean, I don't even have any stocks, guys. I have like a $1,700 old, what is it, an IRA that is just sitting there. I don't know. I keep meaning to put it into Noble Gold, but I haven't done it yet. So I think that if there are massive short sales taking place right now, then it is definitely George Soros and the elite that are trying to get that done so that they can continue to bring down the country. They wanted to use this event to remove Donald Trump, to make Donald Trump look bad. Now, the Patriots, the White Hats, have flipped the switch, and it is happening. It is happening bigly. Let's see. No Shades of Gray says, end child exploitation, most definitely. Let's see if I missed anybody else. Provision handmade gear. Much love to RP and all true patriots. Made in the USA. Provision handmade gear. We'll have to check that stuff out, Provision. Shirley Martinez says, great job, Red Pill. Thank you very much, Shirley. James Grimord joined as a member, and also Diane Turley. Thank you both for joining as members. Christina Jones says, great time to be alive. God bless. Thank you for that, Christina, and you are completely right. Leanda Gooding says, pray all day, protection for the White Hats and all God's children. That's the thing, you guys. We are praying. The power of prayer is real, and we are being rewarded bigly for all that we've been doing over the last couple of years, and for many of us, our entire lives. I'd like to know what is like in different countries. I want to know what people are what people are saying, how your government is handling this crisis. So I'm going to go ahead and start up the Zoom call, you guys, and we'll get the input of some of our callers here, people watching in the audience. So please, I'm going to ask that everybody not call in unless you've got some specific input to talk about what's going on. If you've got a tip on things that are happening, on things that you've seen, on maybe people that you've talked to, people that you know that are working in the government, or you know people who work in other areas that are being affected by this. Maybe you've got a story, somebody gave you a tip. That's what I want to hear, okay, guys? I want you to call in and tell me that information. So I'm going to drop this Zoom link in there, and then if the president comes on, we're going to be ending the calls, guys, and we're going to go straight into the stream. And why is that not working? All right, Garrett Sleister says, hey, Red Pill 78, I was going to ask White Hat or another insider about those of us who need medications to survive, but I guess you covered that already. Anyways, thank you. I've secretly been looking forward to quarantine with my wife and cats. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Angela Atterbury joined as a member. Thank you for that, Angela. Sharon Bergstein says, let's not forget the huge floating prison ships. Excellent point. Excellent point. Son of a Green Card says, go to an automotive store and buy some shop rags. TP problem solved. Just don't flush them. That's actually a really good idea. Rinse them out in the shower. You're good. Kona Blue, a.k.a. the best Great Dane Badger, says, I'm ready to quit nursing and come work for you to keep you from spilling your water in your equipment. Thank you. Now I just need somebody to go get me some water. All right. Let's see. Diane Michaelis? Diane, well, thank you for joining as a member. What's up, Neon? Glad you're still here, buddy. Let's see. Who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody else? Nope. Okay. That's it. Oh, Hollywood. Lois Hollywood 1. Thank you, Lois Hollywood 1, for that super chat. Okay, so here is the Zoom link. There you go. Now, let me get the code, and we'll put it on the screen. Now, guys, do me a favor, and I don't have call screeners, so just call in if you've got your own story about what's going on right now. Maybe, let's just keep the subject to that. I'd appreciate it, because I think it makes it more interesting for everybody that's watching. And we already lost a couple people. Nobody, they don't want to see call-ins, I guess.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, POTUS is here.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Beautiful day in the Rose Garden. Appreciate everybody being here. Today I'd like to provide an update to the American people on several decisive new actions we're taking in our very vigilant effort to combat and ultimately defeat the coronavirus. We've been working very hard on this. We've made tremendous progress. When you compare what we've done to other areas of the world, it's pretty incredible. A lot of that had to do with the early designation and the closing of the borders. And as you know, Europe was just designated as the hotspot right now, and we closed that border a while ago. So that was lucky, or through talent or through luck, call it whatever you want. But through a very collective action and shared sacrifice, national determination, we will overcome the threat of the virus. I also announced Wednesday night, following the advice of our medical professionals, who are doing a tremendous job, and we appreciate it very much, that we're suspending the entry of foreign nationals who have been to Europe in the last 14 days from entering the United States. Citizens, permanent residents, and our families, any of the families returning from Europe, will be subject to extra screening as well as self-isolation for a period of 14 days. As the World Health Organization confirmed today, many of the things that what we said were 100% correct, including our designation before them of Europe. Like our earlier very aggressive actions with China, this measure will save countless lives. I appreciate a number of the folks behind me, number of the people behind me said that that saved a lot of lives, that early designation. But it is only the beginning of what we're really doing, and now we're in a different phase. We had some very old and obsolete rules that we had to live with. It worked under certain circumstances, but not under mass circumstances. They were there for a long time. They were in place for a long time, and we're breaking them down now. And they're very usable for certain instances, but not for this. To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency. Two very big words. The action I am taking will open up access to up to $50 billion of very important and a large amount of money for states and territories and localities in our shared fight against this disease. In furtherance of the order, I'm urging every state to set up emergency operation centers effective immediately. You're going to be hearing from some of the largest companies and greatest retailers and medical companies in the world. They're standing right behind me and inside of me. I'm also asking every hospital in this country to activate its emergency preparedness plan so that they can meet the needs of Americans everywhere. The hospitals are very engaged. New York and various other places are also very engaged. I just spoke with Governor Cuomo. We had a very good conversation, and we're working very strongly with many states, including New York. The emergency orders I'm issuing today will also confer broad new authority to the Secretary of Health and Human Services. The Secretary of HHS will be able to immediately waive provisions of applicable laws and regulations to give doctors, all hospitals, and healthcare providers maximum flexibility to respond to the virus and care for patients. This includes the following critical authorities: the ability to waive laws to enable telehealth, a fairly new and incredible thing that's happened in the not so distant past. I tell you, what they've done with telehealth is incredible. It gives remote doctors visits and hospital check-ins, the power to waive certain federal license requirements so that doctors from other states can provide services in states with the greatest need. Number two, the ability to waive requirements that critical access hospitals limit the number of beds to 25 and the length of stay to 96 hours. The ability to waive the requirements of a 3-day hospital stay prior to admission to a nursing home, big thing. The authority to waive the rules to hinder hospitals' ability to bring additional physicians on board or obtain needed office space. They can do as they want. They can do what they have to do. They know what they have to do. Now they don't have any problem getting it done. The authority to waive rules that severely restrict where hospitals can care for patients within the hospital itself, ensuring that the emergency capacity can be quickly established. We'll remove or eliminate every obstacle necessary to deliver our people the care that they need and that they're entitled to. No resource will be spared, nothing whatsoever. 10 days ago, I brought together the CEOs of commercial labs at the White House and directed them to immediately begin working on a solution to dramatically increase the availability of tests. Other countries have called us and worked with us, and they're doing similar things or will be doing similar things. As a result of that action today, we're announcing a new partnership with private sector to vastly increase and accelerate our capacity to test for the coronavirus. We want to make sure that those who need a test can get a test very safely, quickly, and conveniently, but we don't want people to take a test if we feel that they shouldn't be doing it. And we don't want everyone running out and taking, only if you have certain symptoms. Using federal emergency authorities, the FDA approved a new test for the virus. We did this within hours after receiving the application from Roche, a process that would normally take weeks. We therefore expect up to 500,000 additional tests will be available early next week. We'll be announcing locations probably on Sunday night. I want to thank Roche, great company, for their incredible work. I'd also like to thank Thermo Fisher. The FDA's goal is to hopefully authorize the application within 24 hours. It'll go very quickly. It's going very quickly, which will bring additionally 1.4 million tests on board next week and 5 million within a month. I doubt we'll need anywhere near that. At the same time, we've been in discussions with pharmacies and retailers to make drive-through tests available in the critical locations identified by public health professionals. The goal is for individuals to be able to drive up and be swabbed without having to leave your car. I want to thank Google. Google is helping to develop a website. It's going to be very quickly done, unlike websites of the past, to determine whether a test is warranted and to facilitate testing at a nearby convenient location. We have many, many locations behind us, by the way. We cover this country and large parts of the world, by the way. We're not going to be talking about the world right now, but we cover very, very strongly our country. Stores in virtually every location. Google has 1,700 engineers working on this right now. They've made tremendous progress. Our overriding goal is to stop the spread of the virus and to help all Americans who have been impacted by this. Again, we don't want everybody taking this test. It's totally unnecessary. And this will pass. This will pass through, and we're going to be even stronger for it. We've learned a lot. Tremendous amount has been learned. I want to thank Deborah Birx, and I want to ask her maybe to come up and say a few words as to what's happening. Dr. Birx is a highly respected person I've gotten to know very well over the last 6 days. And what we've done is rebuilt something that was very old-fashioned, somewhat obsolete, certainly obsolete when it comes to the kind of numbers that we're talking about. Dr. Birx, please. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I think you know at the beginning of this epidemic, HHS through CDC proactively developed an assay built on the existing flu surveillance system. That surveillance system was then converted to diagnostic system. But last Tuesday, seeing the spread of the virus around the globe, the President realized that our current approach to testing was inadequate to meet the needs of the American public. He asked for an entire overhaul of the testing approach. He immediately called the private sector laboratories to the White House, as noted, and charged them with developing a high-throughput quality platform that can meet the needs of the American public. We are grateful to LabCorp and Quest for taking up the charge immediately after the meeting, and within 72 hours, bringing additional testing access, particularly to the outbreak areas of Washington State and California, and now across the country. We are also very grateful to the universities and large hospital systems that took up the charge to develop their own quality tests, made available by new FDA guidance. This has resulted in expanded testing across New York, California, Washington, Colorado, and you see sometimes those drive-through options that have been made available through these high-throughput options. Following the meeting last week, major commercial laboratory equipment and diagnostic companies took immediate action to adopt and develop new testing systems. Last night, the initial company, Roche, received FDA approval, moving from request to development to approval in record time. This innovative approach centered fully on unleashing the power of the private sector, focusing on providing convenient testing to hundreds of thousands of Americans within short turnaround times. In less than 2 weeks together, we have developed a solution that we believe will meet the future testing needs of Americans. I understand how difficult this has been. I was part of the HIV/AIDS response in the 80s. We knew from first finding cases in 1981, it took us to almost 1985 to have a test. It took us another 11 years to have effective therapy. It is because of the lessons learned from that we were able to mobilize and bring those individuals that were key to the HIV response to this response. I understand that a lot of this behind-the-scenes action over the last couple of weeks was invisible to the press and the American people. But this intense effort has not only resulted in innovative solutions, but an automated, high-throughput system bringing the availability of these quality coronavirus testing to the American people at unprecedented speed. Finally, I want you to know in South Korea, they did have a large number of tests available over the last several weeks. Their positivity rate is between 3% and 4%. With LabCorp and Quest expanded testing, their positivity rate is between 1% and 2%. So we want to also announce this new approach to testing, which will start in the screening website up here, facilitated by Google, where clients and patients and people of interest can go, fill out a screening questionnaire, move down for symptoms or risk factors, yes, They would move down this and be told where the drive-through options would be for them to receive this test. The labs will then move to the high-throughput automated machines to be able to provide results in 24 to 36 hours. That is the intent of this approach. We have seen it work just in our own United States, and we want to bring this across the continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Great. I'd like to maybe have Tony, do you want to come up? You've become I think everybody out here knows you pretty well, but Tony has been doing a tremendous job working long hours, and you've seen a lot happen, but this has been, it's been a great experience, and working with you has been terrific. Tony, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is an example of, another example of what I've been referring to in my discussions with many of you in the audience as a proactive, leaning forward, aggressive, trying to stay ahead of the curve. And what you're seeing now with this order is that we're going to be able to remove the constraints so that people at the state, the local level, the individual physician, all the way up through the federal government will have as many constraints as possible removed for them to do everything they possibly can so that we can implement the things that we've been talking about. The containment, the mitigation, so that, as I've said many times, that curve that I refer to that goes up, we don't want to have that curve. We want to suppress it down to that small mound. And I think what we've done today is something that is going to be a very important element in having us be successful in doing that. We still have a long way to go. There will be many more cases, but we'll take care of that. And ultimately, as the President said, this will end. But what's going on here today is going to help it to end sooner than it would have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. If I could, some of these folks we know, they're celebrities in their own right. They're the biggest business people, the greatest retailers anywhere in the world, and one of them is Doug McMillon from Walmart. And I'd like to have Doug, if you would, say a few words, wherever you may be. Good, Doug, please.
When we got the call yesterday from the White House, we were eager to do our part to help serve the country. And given what we're facing, that's certainly important to do. We should all be doing that. So we've been asked to make portions of our parking lot available in select locations in the beginning and scaling over time as supply increases so that people can experience the drive-through experience that the President described. We'll stay involved and do everything we can from a supply chain point of view to be of assistance. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doug. Appreciate it very much. I'll just stay right over here. And Richard, if you could come up, please. Richard, please. Walgreens, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. President. And similar to Doug and Walmart, we're happy to stand in here and help in communities all across America, because a lot of times when we have natural disasters, our stores are a beacon in the community, and this situation is no different. So we look forward to partnering with the CDC, the administration, HHS, and the task force, and specifically to the Vice President's doing such a fantastic job. We're ready to engage and help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you very much. Brian Cornell, Target. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, please.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for inviting us here today, along with our colleagues from Walmart and Walgreens and our partners at CVS. Normally, you'd view us as competitors, but today we're focused on a common competitor, and that's defeating the spread of the coronavirus. And we look forward to working with the administration to do our fair share to alleviate this growing threat. So thank you for including us today. In the near term, we're all committed to making sure we're keeping our stores open to serve the American consumer who's rapidly stocking up on household essentials, key food and beverage items that they need during this time, making sure we run safe stores and create an environment that's safe for our team members, making sure that they feel supported during this very critical time. So thank you for including us.
Thank you very much. Great job. Is Tom here? Tom Poland? Tom Poland, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As CEO of Becton Dickinson, we're one of the leading providers of medical devices as well as collection products for testing of coronavirus. We're ramping up our manufacturing capacity to ensure that the right collection devices and testing equipment are ready to address this issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Tom. Great job you've done. Stephen Rakowski, Quest Diagnostics, please. Great job. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. So as mentioned, we were called with the leadership of the Vice President last week to come together as an industry. And we took advantage of that opportunity to work with the FDA, to work with the Center for Disease Control. And we are up and running with tests in a number of our facilities. As the President mentioned, we now have capabilities from Roche Diagnostics that we will bring into our facilities this weekend. And I know myself and my colleague at LabCorp will be doing the same. So the capacity available to the American public to support this action with consumers will be considerably increased in the next few weeks. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks. And Matt Sauce, please, of Roche. Matt, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. President. So from Roche, we want to thank the FDA for their rapid approval of our coronavirus test. We really appreciate the partnership with the CDC and the FDA to get that to market as fast as possible, because it's critical for us to make that available to help patients in need, and working with laboratories to get it up and going in the near future, which will bring hundreds of thousands of tests available to patients in need in the United States. So thank you.
And you can do it. You can do it. Great company. David Pierre of Signify Health, please. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are the largest house call provider in the U.S., and we go to the homes of the most vulnerable elderly. And through our network and our logistics engine, we stand ready to help and provide our clinicians to be where they're needed, whether they're in retail clinics or in the home, and we're here to assist. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we'll be changing a lot of the rules, regulations for future, should this happen in the future, which we hope it never does, but it will, I guess, somewhere out there. There's some bad ones over the years, and I guess that'll continue to an extent, but we hope it never happens. But we're going to be changing a lot of the old rules and specifications and regulations. Adam Schechter, who's really been of tremendous help. LabCorp, please. Adam.
Thank you, Mr. President. At LabCorp, we're working every second of every day to increase the number of tests that we can run. We're working with academic medical centers, with our colleagues at Quest, with other hospital and other laboratories to ensure that we do everything we can to increase the testing as we move forward. And I can tell you, we understand how important the testing is, and we are committed to doing everything possible.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Thomas Moriarty, CVS. We all know CVS. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have been focused since the start of making sure our patients and the customers we serve have the information they need, the safety they need as well. We are committed to working with the administration and local public health officials to make this work as well. And thank you, sir, for the honor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. Great job. And Bruce Greenstein, LHC Group, tremendously talented people. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you for the honor of being here. And the home health industry has been treating patients and seniors in the safety and comfort of their own home for decades. We're very proud to be part of the equation for testing in their own home. For Americans that can't get to a test site or live in rural areas far away from a retail establishment, we're here to help and to partner with our hospitals and physicians, as well as the people we have here today that will be doing testing around the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good test.
Oh, we'll practice that.
Okay, I like that. That's good. We're also announcing the following emergency executive actions today. To help our students and their families, I've waived interest in all student loans held by federal government agencies, and that will be until further notice. That's a big thing for a lot of students that are left in the middle right now. Many of those schools have been closed. Based on the price of oil, I've also instructed the Secretary of Energy to purchase, at a very good price, large quantities of crude oil for storage in the U.S. Strategic Reserve. We're going to fill it right up to the top, saving the American taxpayer billions and billions of dollars, helping our oil industry and making us even further toward that wonderful goal which we've achieved, which nobody thought was possible, of energy independence. It puts us in a position that's very strong, and we're buying it at the right price. And that's something that would have not even been possible a week ago. The price of oil went down quite a bit, so we're going to fill it up is a good time to fill it up. I'd like to ask Mike Pence to say a few words, please. VP.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is this day should be an inspiration to every American, because thanks to your leadership from early on, not only are we bringing a whole of government approach to confronting the coronavirus, we're bringing an all of America approach. Mr. President, from early on, you took decisive action. You suspended all travel from China. You created travel advisories, South Korea and Italy. We screened all travelers from all airports in both of those countries. And on the unanimous recommendation of your health experts, you, at midnight tonight, will effectively suspend all travel from Europe. And Americans that were returning will be screened and asked to voluntarily participate in a 14-day quarantine. Throughout this process, Mr. President, you put the health of America first, but you brought the best of America to address it. And it's not just at the federal level. As you said, Mr. President, we've been working with states across the country. We issued broad guidelines from CDC for every American. But this week, at your direction, we tailored specific recommendations from CDC for New York, Washington State, California, Massachusetts, and Florida. And we've been in continuous contact, as you said, with governors around the country. And Mr. President, you have forged a seamless partnership with every state and every territory in this country to put the health of our nation first. But today, I trust that people around the country that are looking on at this extraordinary public and private partnership to address the issue of testing with particular inspiration. After you tapped me to lead the White House Corona Task Force, Mr. President, you said, this is all hands on deck. And you directed us to immediately reach out to the American business sector, commercial labs, to meet what we knew then would be the need for testing across the spectrum. And today, with this historic public-private partnership, we have laid the foundation to meet that need. For Americans looking on, by this Sunday evening, we'll be able to give specific guidance on when the website will be available. You can go to the website, as the President said. You'll type in your symptoms and be given direction whether or not a test is indicated. And then at the same website, you'll be directed to one of these incredible companies that are going to give a little bit of their parking lot so that people can come by and do a drive-by test. And Mr. President, I want to join you in thanking Walmart and CVS and Target and Walgreens. These are companies that are synonymous with communities large and small, where people come together, and now they're going to come together to meet the needs of the American public. These commercial laboratories, LabCorp and Quest and Roche, have just done an incredible job stepping forward, and are going to literally make hundreds of thousands of tests available and being processed with results to patients in the very near future. But it's all a result of you tasking us with bringing together not just government resources, which all state labs can now test across the country. CDC is testing. But you said, Mr. President, that we wanted to bring all the resources of the country together, and that's what this partnership really means. You know, the truth is that we have coronavirus cases now in 46 American states. And while the risk of serious illness of the coronavirus remains low, we want to encourage every American to practice common sense, practice good hygiene, go to the CDC's website to see what the guidance is for your community or for the American people broadly. And as the President has said, it's especially important now that we look after senior citizens with chronic underlying health conditions. Last week, the President directed the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services to raise the standards at our nursing homes, increase inspections at our nursing homes. And today we're offering very specific guidance, which Seema Verma will articulate about visitations at nursing homes. It's important to remember that they were there for us when we were growing up, Mr. President. They helped us with our homework. They tucked us in at night. They cheered us on as we pursued education, cheered us on in our careers, and now it's time for us to be there for them and to recognize that seniors with chronic health conditions are the most vulnerable, and Americans can make a difference. So wash your hands, use common sense, look after the most vulnerable. And Mr. President, I know I join you in saying that every American should be proud of this incredible public-private partnership that's going to be speeding access of testing to millions of Americans in the weeks ahead. And together, as you've said many times, together we'll get through this. Together we'll put the health of America first.
Thank you. Seema, where's Seema? I'd like you to maybe take that a step further, please, on nursing homes. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, thank you to the President for the declaration. It allows my agency, CMS, that runs Medicare and Medicaid and has oversight of all of the nation's healthcare facilities, to suspend regulations that could get in the way of treating patients during this time. These temporary national blanket waivers are reserved for the rarest of circumstances, and they represent a massive mobilization of our country's resources to combat this terrible virus. And the flexibilities we are offering will be a godsend to the providers, clinicians, and facilities on the front lines of this fight. And later, CMS is going to be issuing guidance directing nursing homes to temporarily restrict all visitors and non-essential personnel, with a few exceptions such as end-of-life situations. We fully appreciate that this measure represents a severe trial for residents of nursing homes and those who love them, but we are doing what we must to protect our vulnerable elderly. Thank you.
As I said in my address to the nation the other night, all Americans have a role to play in defeating this virus. Our most effective weapon right now is to limit the damage to our people and our country and slow the spread of the virus itself. The choice we make, the precautions we put into place are critical to overcoming the virus, reducing its spread, and shortening the duration of the pandemic, which is what it is. The CDC has published guidelines on the coronavirus.gov to enable its coronavirus.gov, and it's very heavily used right now, I will say, to enable every American to respond to this epidemic and to protect themselves, their families, and their communities. While the risks to young and healthy Americans remains very low, we've learned a lot about this over the last 2 weeks. Anyone can be a carrier for the virus and risk transmission to older Americans and those with underlying health conditions, and those who are most at risk. They have not done very well. Older Americans who are, especially if they have a health problem, they have not done well. We must take all precautions and be responsible for the actions that we take and that we see other people take. We want to prevent the spread and transmission of the disease. It's incredible what's happening with the sporting world, where so many of the great sports that we've gotten so used to at this time of the year, they're not going to be meeting, and they've done a great service, actually, by that. That would be another way that it could be, problems could be caused. But this is why I outlined on Wednesday night my administration's the fact that we've issued a requirement suspending all medically unnecessary visits to various places, but in particular nursing homes. We should all be working off the same playbook when it comes to protecting Americans. We have to. We need to be consistent in adopting measures to limit the spread of the virus. The virus is the same whether it's spreading in cities, towns, or rural communities. The tools and tactics for attacking it are similar no matter where you go. No matter where you go. You have some hot spots throughout the world right now that people would have never thought possible, and they're being very seriously affected. Key among these efforts are breaking chains of transmission between people. These measures have been adopted by many companies, universities, and schools, and we want to protect the safety and the health of their employees and their students. I encourage everyone to follow the guidelines we've issued by CDC and these common sense measures. A lot of it's common sense. For the areas where the virus is spreading, the CDC is advising communities to postpone large gatherings, postpone assemblies, social functions, and sporting events, stagger recess and lunch for schools that aren't canceled, limit in-person meetings, increase scheduled cleanings, and cancel work-sponsored travel among numerous other steps that can be taken. Americans are the strongest and most resilient people on earth, and in the coming weeks, we will all have to make changes and sacrifices, but these short-term sacrifices will produce long-term gain. And again, I've said we're learning a lot for the future, and future problems like this, or worse, it could get worse. The next 8 weeks are critical. We can learn, and we will turn a corner on this virus. Some of the doctors say it will wash through, it will flow through, in interesting terms, and very accurate. I think you're going to find in a number of weeks it's going to be a very accurate term. In times of hardship, the true character of America always shines through. We live in the company of the greatest heroes and the most inspiring citizens anywhere in the world. We want to take care of our people. We want to draw on the strength of our history, draw on the strength of our people, and we will get through this all together. We will just get through it. So much progress has already been made. And frankly, the numbers, because the steps that have been taken, are at a level that a lot of people are surprised, especially when you compare them with other places with far smaller populations. The spirit and the will of our nation is unbreakable. We will defeat this threat when America is tested. America rises to the occasion. And to those families and citizens who are worried and concerned for themselves and their loved ones, I want you to know that your federal government will unleash every authority, resource, and tool at its disposal to safeguard the lives and health of our people. So we're with you every step of the way. No nation is more prepared or more equipped to face down this crisis. As you know, we are rated #1 in the world. We're also helping other nations. Many other nations, we're helping them a lot. And they're doing okay in some cases. In some cases, they're not doing well at all. But we're working with a lot of groups of people and a lot of other nations. With faith and heart and hope and love and determination, we will succeed, we will prevail, we will be very, very successful, and we'll learn for the future. Thank you all very much. If you have any questions, we can take some. Go ahead, John, please. And if you'd like to ask some of the folks up here, would be fine, please.
Sure. Mr. President, where are you with the House bill? Yesterday we talked to you in the Oval Office. You were opposed to it. What has happened since then, and what's the holdup on that?
Well, we just don't think they're giving enough. We don't think the Democrats are giving enough. We're negotiating. We thought we had something, but all of a sudden they didn't agree to certain things that they agreed to. So we could have something, but we don't think they're giving enough. They're not doing what's right for the country.
And if I could ask Dr. Fauci?
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You just mentioned waiving interest for student loans.
Yeah.
You talked about buying oil from the SPR or adding to the SPR. What other specific targeted measures is your administration thinking about taking? The Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, said today that you're just in the second inning of things that you might be undergoing.
That's true. And we are looking at many different things, as you know. You know some of them. They've been written about very widely. But we're going to be releasing a paper in about 2 hours stating quite a few other steps, very important ones. Please, go ahead.
What, sir, if you wouldn't mind?
Please, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I want to know if you are in contact with the Brazilian President Bolsonaro after a member of his delegation who was with you Saturday was tested positive. And also, I want to ask another question, if you let me. Senators Lindsey Graham and also Senator Rick Scott are self-isolating. Are you planning to take any kind of precautionary measure to protect you and also your staff who was there?
No,
with him?
We have no symptoms whatsoever, and we had a great meeting with the president of Brazil, Bolsonaro. Great guy, very tremendous. He's doing a fantastic job for Brazil, and as you know, he tested negative, meaning nothing wrong this morning, and we got that word too because we did have dinner with him. We were sitting next to each other for a long period of time.
But are you in contact with him over the coronavirus crisis?
We're talking about it country to country, but we did discuss if he had a problem. It was reported that he may have it, and he doesn't, fortunately.
so much, Mr. President. Dr. Fauci said earlier this week that the lag in testing was, in fact, a failing. Do you take responsibility for that? And when can you guarantee that every single American who needs a test will be able to have a test? What's the date of that?
Yeah, no, I don't take responsibility at all because we were given a set of circumstances and we were given rules, regulations, and specifications from a different time. Wasn't meant for this kind of an event with the kind of numbers that we're talking about. And what we've done is redesigned it very quickly with the help of the people behind me. And we're now in very, very strong shape. I think we'll be announcing, as I said, Sunday night. And this will start very quickly. And we'll have the ability to do in the millions over a very, very quick period of time. So no, and what we have done, and we are going to be leaving a very indelible print for the future in case something like this happens again. But it was and that's not the fault of anybody, and frankly, the old system worked very well for smaller numbers, much smaller numbers, but not for these kind of numbers. Tony, maybe you'd like to say something?
Will you have,
Tony,
yes, please, by Sunday night, will every American be able to get a test?
So just to reiterate what I said to many of you multiple times, it's a distance of a system. The system was not designed for what it was designed for. It worked very well. The CDC designed a good system. If you want to get the kind of blanket testing and availability that anybody can get it, or you could even do surveillance to find out what the penetrance is, you have to embrace the private sector. And this is exactly what you're seeing because you can't do it without it. So when I said that, I meant the system was not designed for what we need. Now, looking forward, the system will take care of it.
Mr. President,
And
with respect,
interestingly, if you go back, please, if you go back to the swine flu, it was nothing like this. They didn't do testing like this, and actually they lost approximately 14,000 people, and they didn't do the testing. They started thinking about testing when it was far too late. What we've done, and one of the reasons I think people are respecting what we've done it very early. We've gotten it very early, and we've also kept a lot of people out.
Mr. President,
yes,
the
please, go
last
ahead.
administration
Please.
said that they had tested 1 million people at this point. You've been
Well, ask them
president
how
for
they did with the
3
swine
years.
flu. It was a disaster.
But with respect, you've been
Next,
president
please.
for 3 years,
Next,
and
please.
Wuhan was suffering.
They had a very big failure with swine flu, a very big failure.
President, I want to ask you about the European travel ban that goes into effect at midnight tonight and the exemption that you've offered to the UK. There are 17 countries that are in the so-called Schengen zone that have fewer coronavirus cases than the UK. And just in the past 24 hours, the UK has added 208 coronavirus cases to their total. Why do they, Mr. President, deserve an exemption? And would you consider adding them to this travel ban list?
Well, that was recommended to me by a group of professionals, and we are looking at it based on the new numbers that are coming out, and we may have to include them in the list of countries that we will, you could say, ban or whatever it is during this period of time. But yeah, the numbers have gone up fairly precipitously over the last 24 hours, so we may be adding that. And we may be adding a couple of others, and we may frankly start thinking about taking some off. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm a correspondent with Hong Kong Phoenix TV. You have mentioned that the number in China has been decreasing. China has made tremendous progress in the past weeks.
Sure.
I'm wondering how much confidence does this give you to control the virus in the United States? And do you see the data China has been sharing with the United States has been helpful?
I think it has been helpful. We've been working very much with China. I've spoken, as you know, with President Xi. They went through hell, and their numbers are starting to look very good. They're really looking very good. We're very happy about that. We are sharing data, yes. In fact, we're sharing quite a bit of data, including the fact that some of our pharmaceutical companies are working over there right now with large groups of people. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You spoke with Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau yesterday.
Yes.
Did you discuss the potential closing of the border between Canada and the U.S.? And by extension, are you considering ways to salvage the $2 billion daily trade between the two countries?
So we didn't discuss the border. We've had a very good relationship, just about finished with the USMCA, as you know. He called me to tell me that. I think that was the primary reason for the call. At the time, his wife had not been diagnosed, and she's a lovely lady, wonderful lady, great lady. And since then, I've read that the result was that she has it. And I was a little surprised. I think he was surprised also. We did discuss it prior to. She's going to be fine, but he thought that she would not most likely have the virus. Unfortunately, she does. But we didn't discuss the border yesterday, no. Go ahead, please. If you have any questions for these great geniuses up here, you should, even a business question related to what we're talking about.
Mr. President, Ross Palumbo from ABC News Miami. As a relatively new Floridian, what is your message today to the cruise line industry and the travel industry that Florida depends upon? And since Senator Rick Scott and Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Jimenez have the same exposure as you and they are self-isolating, what's your message to them that they shouldn't be?
Well, I don't know that I had exposure, but I don't have any of the symptoms. And we do have a White House doctor, and I should say many White House doctors, frankly. And I asked them that same question, and they said, you don't have any symptoms whatsoever. And we don't want people without symptoms to go and do the test. The test is not insignificant. As far as the cruise line business, we're with them all the way. It's a great business. It's a great U.S. business, frankly. And I know how important they are to the country. That includes airlines, but the cruise line business obviously was hit very hard. We had a tremendous success out in Oakland where we moved it. Vice President Pence did a fantastic job with that. We worked with UK, we worked with Canada. They took their people back in Canada. It was approximately 600 people. UK likewise took a large number of people back to the United Kingdom. And we have people quarantined. It was a big operation, and it worked out really, you don't hear about it anymore. It worked out really well. Mike, you may even want to say something about that, because that was really done properly.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And that program with the Grand Princess, the ship, is continuing to be administered in the highest standards, orderly way, as the President directed. And Americans that needed treatment have received them. I spoke to the governor of Iowa today, and some of those who now have been cleared are able, in proper supervision, to be returning to Iowa. They're making arrangements for them to do that. Others in Texas, others in Georgia. Again, it's another example of the extraordinary cooperation. Governor Abbott, Governor Gavin Newsom, Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia. But to add to that, the President directed me last Saturday to travel down to Miami. We met with all the leaders of the cruise line industry. Several cruise lines have announced a 60-day pause in operations. Our Department of Homeland Security has praised them for doing that because of the unique health challenges, particularly presented to seniors with underlying conditions. We have a proposal from the cruise line industry, but they're currently considering what other steps that they might take, perhaps even similar to what those other lines have taken. We're anticipating some response on that in the next 24 hours. But as the President said, the American people cherish our cruise line industry, the men and women who work on the ships, the men and women who work on the shore, all the economies that are so benefited by a vibrant cruise line industry. And what the President's directed us to do is whether there is a pause in the moment, as some cruise lines are doing, and as we all continue to discuss, we want to work with the cruise line industry to ensure that when we come through this, that cruise lines and the medical services that are available and for the passengers and all of the crew, that cruise lines are safer than ever before and can prosper for many years to come.
Go ahead, please.
This question is for Doctors Fauci and Birx. Dr. Fauci, based on what you currently know, what is the trajectory for when this outbreak will peak? How long will the American people have to remain on this emergency footing? And for Dr. Birx, as the administration tries to get its arms around this test kit shortage issue, the next glaring need could be respirators and related hospital equipment. So what is the administration doing right now to ramp up production of respirators and that kind of equipment should this outbreak persist?
So when you have an outbreak like this, particularly if you're trying to interfere with it, it's really impossible to predict the time element of when it's going to peak and when it's naturally going to go down. So if you look at the situation where countries really did not get to the point of trying to contain and mitigate very well, you see a peak over several weeks and then down again over other several weeks. What we're trying to do with the efforts that we're doing is to blunt that peak. And I mentioned it many times, and I think it's important and appropriate for me to mention it again because it answers your question. When you talk about preventing infections from without in, which is the kind of travel restrictions we're talking about, then how do you handle what you already have in your country? You continue some sort of containment, but you also do mitigation. And you try to proportion it to the areas where there are the most infections. The success of that and how much you make this turn into this is going to give you the amount of time. If we're successful, it'll be less. If we're not successful, it's going to be more. But these kind of things generally run out in a few months. Hopefully, we'll make it several weeks, 8, 9, whatever weeks. But I can't give you a number because it depends on how successful we are.
Great, thank you. It's a great question, and Dr. Fauci and I have worked together a very long time and continue. It's a privilege to work with him every day. So I think you can learn and I appreciate there were some graphics done by some of the reporting over the last several days. If you align the data from China with the data with South Korea, you can start to see almost a complete overlay of that data. And so that's what we're tracking very closely, as well as Italy. But you have an excellent question. I just want to make one note. In South Korea, I want to repeat, only 4% of the tests were positive. That means 96% of the people had a different respiratory disease because we're in the middle of flu season, cold season, and all of the other respiratory diseases that we get every day. In LabCorp and Quest early data, they're running about 1 to 2% positive. That means that we have a lot more other respiratory disease out there besides the coronavirus, and that's why the screening is critical. But even with the screening, we're going to run what we think are very low rates. Needless to say, though, we're taking it extraordinarily seriously to plan for what could come. Not what Dr. Fauci talked about, blunting the curve. That makes it much less high need at that peak of the curve that we're all planning for. So we're in full inventory of all of our assets by the president unlocking and this emergency order and the secretary of HHS's ability. It unlocks all of those stockpiles, those needs, what the VA has, what the DOD has, what the National Guard has, and what every hospital has. And the hospital emergency preparedness plan allows them to defer elective issues to keep those hospital beds open for those who might need it. So we're in full planning mode for each of those things.
And I might add that we are in the process, and in some cases have already done it, ordered a large number of respirators just in case. We hope we don't need them, but we've ordered a large number. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. In your speech to the nation, you mentioned the situation in China and South Korea have improved, and you're thinking about remove the restrictions, also the warning
Right.
in place right now. When can we expect that announcement, and how do you see the overall progress that Asian countries made?
Well, some are making progress, some are not, as you know, but some are making progress. And as they make progress, as they get down to the number that we all think is right, that they know is right, we know is right, we'll be opening it up. And some are really moving along rapidly. We hope to be able to open things up as quickly as possible. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
President, I'd like to ask Secretary Azar and Dr. Fauci just how Dr. Fauci, okay?
Right, it
all right.
better. Not 100%, but 90%.
Right.
Go ahead.
This affects the elderly primarily, and in that sense, it's an unusual disease. Is any specific research being done as to why it affects our senior citizens more than others?
So I don't mean to diminish your question, but we already know why it would affect senior citizens more. Because when you talk about anything that requires a robust immune system, as you get older, your immune system is not as potent as it is when you are young. And that's the reason why when you talk about even influenza, which we have extraordinary experience with over decades and decades, the people who are very vulnerable are the elderly and those with underlying conditions. The same thing holds true for a variety of other disease. Why cancer is more prevalent in mostly in older individuals, because the immune system that screens for it is less robust. So it really is something that is kind of well known over a lot of studies.
Okay. OAN, please. OAN.
Mr. President, the Chinese officials are expressing some tones of discontent with how where the source of this virus has come from, and they're spinning some odd narratives. What are your response to the Chinese officials who are doing that? And have they signaled any kind of resistance to upcoming trade talks in response to how we're handling this
No, we
virus?
have our deal with China. They're going to be buying $250 billion worth of goods and $50 billion from our farmers, and it's a great deal for our country. It's about time somebody did that. And frankly, phase 2 will start negotiating. I did read one article, but I don't think that article was representative, certainly not in my conversations with President Xi. And they know where it came from. We all know where it came from.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yamiche Alcindor from PBS
Yes.
NewsHour. My first question is, you said that you don't take responsibility, but you did disband the White House Pandemic Office, and the officials that were working in that office left this administration abruptly. So what responsibility do you take to that? And the officials that worked in that office said that the White House lost valuable time because that office wasn't disbanded. What do you make of that?
Well, I just think it's a nasty question, because what we've done is, and Tony has said numerous times that we've saved thousands of lives because of the quick closing. And when you say me, I didn't do it. We have a group of people. I could ask perhaps my administration, but I could perhaps ask Tony about that, because I don't know anything about it. I mean, you say we did that. I don't know anything about it.
You don't know
We're
about
spending,
the
no, I don't know.
reorganization that happened at the National
It's the
Security
administration. Perhaps they do that. You know, people let people go. You used to be with a different newspaper than you are now. You know, things like that happen.
But this was
Please go ahead. We're doing a great job. Let me tell you, these professionals behind me and these great, incredible doctors and business people, the best in the world, and I can say that, whether it's retailers or labs or anything you want to say, these are the best in the world. We're doing a great job. We have 40 people right now, 40. Compare that with other countries that have many, many times that amount. And one of the reasons we have 40 and others have, and again, that number's going up, just so you understand. And a number of cases, which are very small, relatively speaking, it's going up. But we've done a great job because we acted quickly, we acted early. And there's nothing we could have done that was better than closing our borders to highly infected areas. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Vanessa Yaklish for NTN24 for all Latin American countries,
sure.
and also for Spain, La Razón and Antena 3. I would like to ask you two very brief questions. One, for how long we're going to have the emergency, the national emergency?
I hope not long, but it's there now, and it gives tremendous powers for things that we need. Tremendous power, actually. And the Stafford Act and various other things that we're involved with and have studied and memorized in so many different ways and forms, it gives the kind of power that we need to get rid of this virus. And we're going to do it very quickly. And I hope we won't need it very long, but whatever it takes.
So for now, we still don't know for how long. And something very important I wanted to ask you is, like, how do you really think it's essential coordinating with other countries and learning from the lessons that they already suffer, the same situation countries, of course, like China and South Korea, but now recently Italy and Spain.
Well,
and
Italy's
how is that
having
coordination done?
Italy
Thank you
is
so
having
much,
a very, we're in touch with Italy, and it's a country that we love. We have tremendous millions and millions of people, origins from Italy, and we're working with them. They're in probably, relatively speaking, the toughest position of all. We're in touch with everybody. We're in touch with, when I say toughest position of all, many of the countries that you know about, that you're writing about, and they're calling us asking for advice. They're asking for the advice of the people behind me. Italy's got a tough situation, but they're really they have really clamped down. And I think they're going to see some very good results. It's tough what they did. They really took their medicine, but they're going to see some much better results. Yeah, Jeff?
Thank you, sir. With regard to domestic travel, should Americans feel safe, or should Americans at all be traveling to states such as Washington State, New York, and other hotspots within this country? And a follow-up on Brazil. You're asking people who come back from Europe, Americans who are coming back from Europe, to self-quarantine for a couple weeks. You were in a picture with somebody who now has coronavirus from Brazil at Mar-a-Lago. How is that different?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, I'm not coming back from someplace.
But you were exposed.
There was somebody that they say has it. I have no idea who he is, but I take pictures and it lasts for literally seconds. I don't know the gentleman that we're talking about. I have no idea who he is. I haven't seen the picture. I said there's a picture of somebody, but I take sometimes hundreds of pictures a day. And that night I was taking hundreds of pictures, so I just don't know. Now, I did sit with the president for probably 2 hours, but he's tested negative, so that's good.
It's just a matter
Please
of...
go ahead.
And the domestic travel, sir?
Go ahead, please. I would say if you stay home, it's not bad. It's not bad. Now, there are certain parts of the country that are essentially have zero problem. Washington's been very tough, in particular a nursing home. But Washington, the state of Washington has been very tough. It's been a big percentage of, when you talk about the 40 deaths, it's been a big percentage of the deaths, as you know very well. And they all came from a certain area, unfortunately. Please, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay.
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Mr. President. Cordelia Lynch, Sky News. You talked this week about the UK doing a good job in tackling coronavirus. In light of the rise in cases, are you changing your mind about that? You also just spoke about possible travel restrictions. Have you discussed when they might be put in place?
Well, in light of the results, as we discussed before, in light of the results, we're going to be looking at it. And I know the task force is looking at it very strongly. Vice President, everybody. It was looking good, but the results have been building up pretty rapidly. So we'll be taking another look at that. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, thank you. I want to first follow up on Jeff's question, because the person you were standing next to, whether you know who he is or not, tested positive for coronavirus. Dr. Fauci said this morning, if you stand next to somebody who tested positive, you should self-isolate and get a test. You say your White House doctor is telling you something different. Who should Americans listen to? And my second question
I think they
is,
have to listen to their doctors. And I think they shouldn't be jumping to get the test unless it's necessary. But I think they have to listen to their doctors. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the picture. Somebody said there's a picture with somebody taking a picture with me, but I haven't seen it.
well, doctors have
but
said
I
you
can
might
tell
have
you,
it even if you don't have symptoms. Are
Well-
you being selfish by not getting tested and potentially
Well, I
exposing?
didn't say I wasn't going to be tested.
Are you going to be?
Most likely, yeah. Most
When do
likely.
you think
Not for
that'll
that
happen?
reason, but because I think I will do it anyway.
Will you let us know
fairly
the
soon. We're
results?
working on that. We're working out a schedule.
My second question, Mr.
You
President,
go ahead,
that was
please.
a follow-up.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of talk about testing. I just want to make sure we're clear, though, because we've been hearing from doctors who say, as of today, they still can't get patients tested who need a test. So as of today, can everyone who a doctor wants to have tested get tested? And if not, when?
Well,
When
that's
will
been
doctors
true for a
go do-
while, but I'll let Mike. Why don't you answer that, Mike, please?
Well, as the president said, and Dr. Fauci has articulated, the nature of our current system, where the CDC has samples sent and tests are performed, or state labs perform tests, or in some cases university and hospital labs perform tests, is generally adequate for an infectious disease or for people getting a diagnostic work done. But given the sheer scale of this, the president tasked us with bringing together this extraordinary public and private partnership. Today, by some estimates, when you add all the labs together, and today the president made it possible for every state in the country and their state labs to authorize labs across their state to do coronavirus testing. we're estimating somewhere between 15 and 20,000 tests a day are able to be performed. But very soon, with the program that was announced today, Americans will be able to visit one of the sites closest to them, as described on the website, if they're symptomatic, if the questionnaire indicates it, be able to have a test there, and these incredible companies will process the test and they'll receive that information. But for now, the best advice that we can give for people is to speak to their doctor, as the President just said. And if the doctor indicates that physician, if it's not a university hospital or otherwise authorized lab, can contact the state lab. Again, every state lab in the country can perform tests today. But what the President charged us with when I was tasked to take over the White House Coronavirus Task Force was open up tests all across the country. The President said a few days ago that we made it clear that any American that wanted to get a test would be able clinically to get a test. Because I literally heard from the governor of Washington State, who said the doctors in Washington State were saying that if you were only mildly symptomatic, they would not order a test. And fortunately, the President directed CDC to clarify that. Now, anyone in consultation with their physician, regardless of their symptoms, can request a test, and their doctors will contact those agencies, those labs in their state. But very soon, Americans will be able to go to these drive-in sites and be able to obtain and participate in a test. Dr. Birx, is there more to amplify that?
No, I think that's perfectly said. I think just to review once more time about the testing. With LabCorp and Quest, I think many of you have been to doctor's office and seen the little boxes outside. What they do is they deliver both the specimen collection piece, because remember, it's a nasal swab. It's not a tube of blood. So they've delivered that to doctors' offices and hospitals, and then they will arrange to pick that up. The important piece in this all is they've gone from a machine that may have a lower throughput to the potential to have automated extraction. I know you don't want all these details, but it's really key for the laboratory people. It's an automated extraction of the RNA that then runs in an automated way on the machine with no one touching it, and the result comes out of the other end. So sample to machine to results. That cuts out a lot of the manual pieces that were happening that were delaying the test results.
And so with that, what's the timeline like from when you're tested to when you get results? Like next week, what should people expect?
Well, with the prior testing, it was taking several days because the test is slower. We believe with this test, because of its throughput, that the testing can be from start, remember it has to transport, to the laboratory that will run it. And then we're hoping that all can be finished within 24 hours, which is very similar to other tests that you received today. These are not point-of-care tests. We are working on point-of-care tests, but we have to realize point-of-care tests take 6 months or more to develop. So we're not waiting for those. We're still diagnosing this on nucleic acid. So it's an antibody. This is actually the antigen, the actual virus in your nose that we're amplifying.
I think you have to remember, though, we're working very closely with states, and so you have a smaller form and more targeted form of government going in and doing it, like in New York, where the relationship is very good, like Gavin Newsom, where he made some very complimentary, that's California, he made some really complimentary comments the other day about how we're working together. We worked on the ship together, but we worked on a lot of other things together having to do with this. And we're really, the relationship that we have, I can't think of a bad relationship. We're helping them. We're funding them in some cases, depending on what it is you're talking about. And we're all working together very closely. So we've done really, I think, a tremendous job of teamwork with the different states. All right, one or two more. And if you have questions for these folks, does anybody have a question for the folks up here? Who has a question up here? You have? Okay, go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead.
Thank you. I have one for you as well.
I thought. I know
no, but
you
I do
asked.
have one for them because I haven't heard this
I was waiting
yet.
for that. Go ahead.
Because I haven't heard this yet.
Ask them first, please.
Yes, I will. Okay, with regards to the CEOs, can you please tell us when you expect to see items like hand sanitizer that have been going out of stock very quickly back on the shelves? There have been a lot of reports about that. And for you, Mr. President, could you talk about a potential bailout for the cruise industry? You had suggested that could happen. Is that something you're still looking at, and how much would that be?
Well, I didn't suggest that it could happen, but I can tell you it's an industry that was very badly impacted by what's going on with the virus. And it's a great industry. It's a very important industry, and we will be helping them, and we will be helping the airline industry if we have to, assuming we have to. So far, people haven't been asking, but if they should be asking, we want to make sure our airline is very strong. And then one day, all of a sudden, wasn't looking so good. Interestingly, I was talking to Doug, and the numbers they're doing from the retailing standpoint, I guess because of this, your business is like the opposite. All of you you've been selling a lot of stuff. Do you want to answer the question as to the hand sanitizers?
Sure. Yeah, specifically the areas where we're seeing pressure in the supply chain are surface cleaners, cleaning supplies, paper goods in particular. Hand sanitizer is going to be very difficult to have 100% in stock on for some time. We're still replenishing it and shipping it, but as soon as it hits the stores, it's going. The same thing's true for the categories I just mentioned. So all the retailers will be working hand in hand with the suppliers to bring that to the market as fast as we can.
What is your advice, though, for Americans who are seeking those items? What is your advice? They're selling out online, they're selling out in the stores.
I think this team has given you other examples of what people can do to fight back against this virus, and you should look at the entire list.
Dr. Fauci,
please
speak to that. It'd be good.
I mean, obviously it sounds very simplistic, but wash your hands as often as you possibly can. And I know you're not always in a position to be able to wash your hands, but wash them as much as you can. If you don't have the alcohol wipes, try and get them. If you can't get them, just try as best as possible to do it. I mean, you got to do the best you can.
Well, no, just general preparedness. You know, you want to wash your hands. You want to keep distance from people. And if you're around someone sick, keep away from them. This is basic public health. Now, these guys are selling a lot of toilet paper. I don't know. There seems to, Tony, do you need to give some guidance that toilet paper is not an effective protection against getting the coronavirus? They're selling out. But the soap and water, hot water, soap, 20 seconds. That's how you do it.
Okay, one more. Go ahead. Go ahead. Now, over here, behind you. Behind you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You have a great team, of course.
That's true.
My question is, Mr. President, are you happy from the Chinese response? What correctly really told you what really happened those days? And second, Prime Minister Modi or India have closed borders until April 15th, if you have spoken with the Prime Minister of India and if they have needed any help. And finally, sir, any message for the small businesses because they are losing some businesses because of this? Thank you, sir.
Well, on small businesses, the Small Business Administration is now stacked with money to help them, and we're going to make the money readily available if they need it, small businesses. We had a great time in India. It was an incredible 2 days, and he's a great friend of mine, and he's a friend of his people because he was greeted incredibly warmly, as was I, in that stadium. It was an incredible event, and I loved being with him, so just say hello to him. But we talked about everything. We talked about far more than just borders. And as far as President Xi, likewise, he's a friend of mine. I believe that we are dealing in good faith, that we just worked as you know, and as I just said, we just worked an incredible deal, big deal, one of the biggest deals ever made of any kind, big even by the standards of some of the people here that deal with China. But I think that they want to get to the bottom of things also. We're working, our drug companies, our pharmaceutical companies are working very closely with China and with India, as you know, and with all over the world. And they're all over the world. These are magnificent companies that are very, very knowledgeable. And we're very lucky to have them because I think you're going to come up with, whether it's therapeutic or whether it's just help in getting better, and then ultimately a vaccine, which takes a little bit longer because of the test periods and a couple of other reasons. You're going to have it very quickly because of the great knowledge, and they'll have it very quickly. They've made a tremendous amount of progress. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, good stuff, you guys, good stuff. So many bots in the chat, but that's what happens when I guess you're streaming in the middle of the day. I've got a couple of super chats I need to go over, guys, and then we're going to do a couple of calls, and then I got to attend to my puppies because they are hungry. Hold on, let me get this spread out here. We will turn off manage participants. All right, so I need to say thank you to several people. Thank you very much, guys. Let's see. I think we ended with, Rod Rosenstein. He said, I dread 2021. Then Wide Awake said, God bless all the white hats and God bless Red Pill. I don't usually comment, but I watch every day from the UK. Wide Awake, I'm really glad that you're here, buddy. Tara Crawford says, love your work, Red Pill from Australia. I love my viewers from down under. Thank you very much for that, Tara. Navy Vet says, National Emergency equals Insurrection Act equals martial law. This is a very important point here. POTUS is setting the stage right now. I think this is just the first move, okay? They don't want panic in the streets. They don't want to just run out there and just tell everybody to get back in their homes and tape their doors shut or weld them shut like they did over there in the Far East. People have to be comfy about this situation, okay? It's the boiling frog analogy. You know, you've got to gradually ease it in. Navy Vet, thank you. MAGA 10x10 Patriot Mom says, you are amazing. Thank you very much for that. Two Dogs Mike D says, if Google is involved, it can't be good. I think that they are bringing this company and others to heel, to quote Hillary Clinton. Mel C says, are we really supposed to trust Google? I don't think we're supposed to trust Google. I think that when the administration, who we are supposed to trust, is in charge of running the operation that Google is helping with, that I think we can trust. And I think that if we take a look at the chairman, Sergey Brin and those guys that were forced to leave Google, I think that things are going to change. And I should note that this live stream hasn't been demonetized. I don't know if it's because of the subject matter or what, but it's very interesting. Shelly Marie, thank you for joining as a supporter. Mel C says, I don't trust them to give me a non-biased search results. Forget CV19 testing guidance. I'll ask my puppy first. Definitely. I think that for stuff like that, yeah, we're not supposed to even bother. I don't use that platform. I don't use it as a search engine. So there's other ways that we can get the information. We can go directly to the CDC or whatever, or the president, like this press conference. Mel C says, seriously, dogs will smell an infection and issue, and I trust her. That's true. Your dogs will let you know. Jules Cam, thank you for the super chat. Jeffrey Otero says 10 Days of Darkness. I think this is coming up. Then Bill Allen says, you are the news now. Handle with care. RP78. I definitely take this very seriously. So thank you very much, Bill. Patrick Fallon, thank you for the super chat. Circuses says, Pence has heavy breathing while speaking. It's true, he does. God-fearing MAGA Grammy says, let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Psalms 69:22. Thank you for that. Dave Ash 213, thank you. Teraxicum Officional. Martial law soon, you think? Yes, I do think martial law is coming soon. Is there two of me? Oh my God. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Thank you. Jason Dunn says, all schools are closed until mid-April here in Louisiana due to the CV. Things are getting crazy. Lourdes Lopez says, welcome, RP78 supporter. Thank you for that. Joining. Mad Maddo says, sirens going off like mad here in Central Florida. Mel C says, 5x5 because she had something she wanted to say. Just Cause says, they should ask the Q. I was waiting for that the whole time. Mel C says, POTUS is by far the most transparent president and still reporters cross the line. P.S. POTUS so confident about not having proves it is beyond the virus and a moral cleansing. Absolutely, I completely agree. And my good friend Big Hair Tsunami says, American communist media, when one hoax fails, push another. Are you vigorously washing Smokey, Chi-Chi, Simone, and Muffin's paws? Speaking of them, Muffin is at the door. Hold on. Muppy. Come on in, honey. Come on in. Come on in. All right, we're just going to take one call. Chi-Chi is below me. Chi-Chi is below me. So, you guys, POTUS is cool as a cucumber, all right? And I think that we should remain so, too. We're going to take just a couple calls, and then I got to get off. Let's see. First, we're going to go for Carl. Carl, what's up, buddy? Are you there? All right, Carl looks like maybe Carl stepped away. So, let's go ahead and get Techno Axes.
I'm here, buddy.
Oh, you are? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Techno
Sorry, I had
it's okay.
a lot of screens up.
Okay, no problem. All right, so what's going on, Carl? What do we got?
All right, so my wife works for the DeQuincy Police Department as a dispatcher. And hold on, I'm trying to bring up a couple screens here. And anyway, so she came home all excited with updated news. And it turns out that our very corrupt Governor Edwards has officially declared, basic martial law in the state of Louisiana. As of 3 o'clock this afternoon, all schools, kindergarten through 12th grade, are permanently shuttered and closed until for at least a month, and can be extended until June.
Wow.
Let's see, the people. Oh, there it is. Let's see. For roughly a month, and no gatherings of more than 250 people in a single place at any time, no exceptions, including churches. So if you go to a large church, they're stating that no more than 250 people. And of course, the DMV also posted something about if you have driver's licenses or, well, a lot of credentials that expire from March 10th to June 9th, they will be extended for 90 days.
That's great.
So you
That's
don't
good
have
news.
to renew your other stuff. And of course, visitors to hospitals, visitors to prisons are being restricted severely. So, no visiting guests. She made an utterance earlier that said they were possibly going to release nonviolent criminals.
Ooh.
But of course, that was just hearsay, because the state police came up to her headquarters and was talking to them, preparing all the police officers about all the new martial laws that they're going to have to enforce. So, and then I just got a message stating that all the stores in one of the bigger cities next to us just stopped using ATMs or ATM and credit cards and are only accepting cash.
Interesting.
So everybody's freaking out a little bit, like yahoos. But it's interesting, but Louisiana is one of the more corrupt states in the United States. You got California, New York, and everybody forgets about Louisiana.
Yeah, it's right down there in the Gulf of Mexico. All right, Carl, thank you for your call, buddy. I appreciate the info.
Hoorah, brother.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. All right, coming in next is Techno-Axe. Techno-Axe, there you are, buddy. How you doing? No audio yet. No audio yet. All right, so I need to say thank you to Michael Cole. He says, I really have something to say. What's the number? I put that in there. Techno-Axe, I still got nothing from you, buddy. Well, listen, while you're trying to get your mic situation figured out, I'm going to bring Mel in, okay? Because, well,
Hold on.
Oh, you got it. Okay. Cool.
All right, sweet.
All right, sweet. So what information do you have on the situation, Techno?
I work in Everett, Washington, the state of Washington.
Okay.
Right now there's like a lot of talk of like sending people, like for me, I've got my lappy laptop from work actually. Sure. And we've got a lot of people basically, they're encouraging to get familiar with how to VPN into like work now, so you can telecommunicate.
That's good. I think that's a good thing. There's a lot of people who could do that. And the more people that they just have staying at home and telecommuting, the less chance we have of anybody spreading anything. So I can see that. I think that I do think that this is something that President Trump is going to suggest that becomes necessary. We'll see how the infections look, tomorrow. If we have a huge spike, in the next 24 to 48 hours, then, they're going to have to do it because we need to, have some type of cover for this, coming out and for people getting taken in.
It's going to be interesting because I work with things like oscilloscopes and those things.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
I used to own one.
Expensive pieces of equipment, even the cheaper kinds and stuff like that. So if they would like me to borrow a set of pieces of equipment, I could show you how to do square waves and stuff like that.
I live by a university that and so they'll sell their old equipment, and I bought like an oscilloscope from the 60s, and it had this giant Polaroid camera. Like there was no other way to print off the waveform, so you'd have to attach the camera to it, take the picture, then it would pop out, and then you'd have your readings to take back. It was pretty cool.
Right.
All right, TechnoX, thanks, buddy. I got to take the dogs out, so I'm trying to get through these calls real quick. I appreciate your info, dude.
Yeah, no problem.
Talk to you soon.
Later.
Bye-bye. All right, thank you so much to TechnoX and to Carl. I appreciate you guys calling in. Mel C is on the line. You guys, we've got 3 more calls I'm going to take, so please don't call in because I got to get these dogs outside, and I even have to get the stream ready for later tonight. Mel, are you there? All right, looks like Mel is getting...
I'm here, sorry.
It's okay. All right, Mel,
Working on it.
What info do you have for us?
So a couple things I'm noticing in Jersey. Some of the courts are closing already. A couple of them are saying closed till April. So they're already doing long-term courts.
All right, that's interesting.
The weird thing I'm noticing is, we know they're playing with the numbers, but a couple of the schools nearby have closed down, saying that they have actual cases. Unfortunately, the website for the CDC or New Jersey is not reflecting that. So I don't know whether the schools are hyping it up to, keep in mind some of these areas are real close to sanctuary city, high concentration. So I don't know what the deal is, but I'm noticing numbers aren't really matching up. In terms of the courts, though, it's literally only going to be a matter of time. I'd be shocked if by Monday we don't hear something that the courts are going to be closed on a indefinite basis. Yeah. Give us some time. So we'll see.
I tend to agree. All right, Mel, I appreciate your call. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks so much.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, we've got 2 more callers. Thank you, all 3 of you, for your calls so far. Is it Mercy? Merci? How do we pronounce your name, caller? Mercy G. All right, Tim Morgan, thank you for joining as a member. Red Pill Doc says, we seem to be witnessing fallout from so many commies in education adding stress to the economy by shutting down. Definitely. And then Gary Traben says, hand sanitizer, make your own. 2/3 of a cup of rubbing alcohol, 60% or more, half a cup of aloe vera gel, 8 to 10 drops lavender, tea tree, or lemon oil. Thank you very much. Thank you for that suggestion there. I appreciate that, Gary, and thanks for the super chat. Mercy, are you there? You're muted. All right. Well, I'm going to assume, Mercy, that you're trying to get your microphone situation in, and I'm going to hope that this is Michael Cole right here. Next caller. Michael, is that you?
Yes, I am. Hey, Red Pill.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, everybody. So, yes, I want to do this real quick so you can get on. This is amazing. I am excited. I mean, everybody else is like panicking here. I am excited. He is lifting restrictions to the medical industry, and this is probably some of the stuff that Nixon put into place all those years ago. I am super stoked. We are going back to when things made sense.
Yes.
When the chaos subsided, when things weren't so super crazy. But no, as for this, I mean, everybody's saying wash your hands. Nobody's really commented on eyewear. Like, hey, we should wash our glasses like yours, and also our cell phones. I mean, we can't all wash our cell phones all the time. But you know what's real easy? Just put it on speaker. You don't have to put the phone up to your face.
Exactly. I've got I've several packages of the handheld disinfectant wipes, so that I've just got those with me. And then if I have to touch something outside, and then I use my phone or my glasses, whatever it is. Surfaces. I had to go to the grocery store last night, and I had to use a cart, of course, so that was the first thing I did. Want to go ahead and get that disinfected. Any closings in your area? Anything that you're noticing like that? Any National Guard presence?
Yes. Well, the Air Force Academy definitely closed down on Wednesday. They did a lockdown. I think Schriever did the same thing. I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado, by the way.
All right.
We're surrounded by 5 military installations.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
That's nuts. So yeah, Schriever, I think, also was like on lockdown, and the Air Force Academy, where the president goes every single year. Yeah, that's on lockdown. And I think Fort Carson was still open, and Peterson may still be open too, but I'm not too sure.
All right. Well,
but yeah, just
keep your
wanted to
eyes
say
open.
that.
Keep your eyes open to see if there's any special activity there, because somebody in the chat had said that Baby Love said that her husband is being deployed to Guantanamo, like ASAP, and that they're fully staffed down there. And then somebody else in the chat said something about some major activity taking place at an airbase. So, sorry, I can't remember what the name of it was.
God, that all makes sense. I am so excited. I mean, all of these flights that are closing to everything,
Yes.
that only tells me that, Donald Trump is saying, hey, we're closing down these airports so that way these people can't escape.
Yes, exactly.
He is going after these people. He is arresting people.
And if they limit
I am excited.
If they limit the air traffic to certain airports, then it'll be a lot easier to close in on people because they're going to be able to track them. Very, very cool.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for this. It's awesome. Hey, have a good one, everybody.
You
Bye.
too, Michael. Thanks for your call, buddy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see you. All right, Mercy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Am I saying that right?
Merci.
Merci. Okay.
It's a Catalonian abbreviation of Mercedes.
Okay. Cool. Well, Mercy, how are you today, and what is your comment on the situation?
My comment, perhaps you want to know what's going on here in Catalonia?
Oh, you're in Italy. There you go. Yes.
No, not in Italy.
Where's
Spain.
Catalonia? Spain.
Catalonia. It's where they wanted to separate from Spain.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, I know now. Go ahead. Yeah, tell us what's happening there.
Yesterday, our mayor did a little video about her situation because he was faintly in contact with somebody who was tested positively with the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And she, since then, is in quarantine, one can say, and works from home.
Okay. How is she? How is her health doing?
She is perfectly fine. She has any symptoms and is only to prevent the possible spreading. She is on quarantine.
Okay.
Herself. And also, I read in the chat that some are having the close down of the schools.
Mm-hmm.
That's going on here too, for at least 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, good. I mean, at least they're responding to it, I mean, I think that every other country in the world is probably learning from the mistakes that were made in China and Iran and Italy. A swift, decisive action is what's needed in order to make sure that it doesn't spread. I mean, the only way that they can guarantee that is if they ask people to stay home. So I think that, are you guys, how much do people in Catalonia follow what's happening with President Trump here? I mean, is it similar at all?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's probably not everyone, because not everyone speaks as good English and understands everything, but the ones who understand it, I'm sure they're following.
Okay, beautiful. All right, well, Mercedes, anything else before we sign off?
Just want to thank you and True Reporting.
I love True Reporting.
I think so. And many others from America who really get the message out.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate you tuning in.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll see you. Have a great night. All right. Awesome. Good stuff. You guys, I appreciate the calls. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We're going to go ahead and close the stream off right now. I don't have any more super chats to go over. Tim Morgan joined as a member. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to tune in tonight at 10 p.m. for the Friday the 13th Spooktacular with myself, Methods, and our special guest, the Patriot Report. And we are going to have your calls as well. So get your paranormal activity stories ready. We're going to be telling ghost stories all night. That's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel right here. And I just realized that there is no video. There we go. All right, I'm back. Abel Delta says you need a dog door. Yes, I do, but I live in a cold climate, so I got to let the dogs out and I got to feed them. All right, you guys, good luck, everyone. God bless. We'll see you tonight.